God, I would love you. Yes, please. That would be so great.
Okay.
So we have Lana, Leslie, Ton,
Leslie, yeah.
and us.
Yeah.
So,
Is Diana?
no, we have no Diana still.
Who's there in person?
Well, we'll just make some decisions.
Me.
Say your name.
Alyssa.
We have Alyssa, we have Atul, we have Stephanie, we have Hillary, we have Laura.
And Anne.
Hold on, do the committee members first, and then we do our tasks.
Anne?
Oh, hold on, you got the regular committee first? Lana?
Yeah.
Okay, and then for guests, we have Mary Gorham from Mazzara, and Anne, I'm sorry.
Boucher.
Boucher.
Oh, Boucher.
So
You can
B-O-U-C-H-E-R.
spell it if you say Boucher.
B-O-U-C-H-E-R. Boucher. Le Français.
Oui, oui.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Leslie.
Okay, let me try.
Alright.
Alright, Tom
Sure,
said he's
around.
coming soon, let me text Diana.
Yeah, see if she's coming, because if she's not, we'll
She even
just
said, I mean, she told me yesterday and today, I'll see you tonight, so.
Okay.
Alright,
Nonetheless.
so, call to order?
Yes, please, 6:18, or why did I say 6:18 before? It's only 6:50.
6:08.
6:08, there we go, we got it.
Hey, BJ.
Good, how are you?
Here's your downstairs, I had another bag of
Oh,
stuff. and
thank
then
you.
I left it promptly on my.
Who just joined?
BJ.
Beach.
Oh. Hi, Beach.
Hi.
Okay. All right, November 6th, meeting minutes for approval.
Or
Motion to
So
approve.
moved.
approve.
All right, Alyssa, I'll give the second. Yes.
Okay.
All right, any public comment? Do you guys want to comment on anything else? Get over here.
Nobody wants to be in it. No one wants to be in the camera.
I fidget too much.
Yeah, same.
I'm just gonna eat the whole
Look like I'm not paying attention.
That and I'm
Oh.
on Twix.
Sorry, I haven't eaten like all day, so I'm going to eat. All right, no public comment. I guess, Mary, do you just want to go ahead and we'll catch Diana up on what we need? That's what we'll plan for.
You know, if she just wants to write up a paragraph of describing.
Hold on, let me introduce for everybody else.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Mazzara, we have our monthly educational series, and which we'll debrief on our ones we just did this month for November, and we'll talk about the one we're going to be doing for December. But for January, we have planned a net zero / energy audit, like what we did for our first one ever last year. But more towards the net zero. But now that we're doing Heat Smart, I think it's a good idea if we do really push the audits again too, so do it half and half. And Mazzara wanted to co-sponsor it again with us and try to get, as much of the town and surrounding areas in as much as we can. And for anybody who did not notice, in the little newsletter that came out, which I got today because I'm slow at getting
Yes,
my
I
mail,
got it today.
is it actually, for the Heat Smart, it said that they'll give $25 to the residential assistance fund for everybody who signs up for it to do the energy audit through
The
it.
town little newsletter?
Mhm.
I haven't
The little
read it
white.
yet. Yeah, I saw it. I have not read
It's also a nicer paper grade if anyone's.
Yeah, I
noticed. It was
Two
like,
pages.
someone.
I picked up my mail and didn't look at it.
I only barely did. Don't worry.
I'm
I'm
picking
not
it up.
Now, is that is
I
that
remember.
the newspaper where?
No, that's this one that comes from this town hall.
Oh, okay, so it's not the
It is
newspaper,
not.
it's not the, it's just
Woodbridge Town
News.
News, which is an actual newspaper that
Which-
does not come out physically anymore.
So, I never see if the articles were ever in there.
Yes,
so-
I'm not sure they're
Right.
actually making it.
Yeah, oh, we're not making it in there?
I'm not sure. I have
Yeah.
found a couple of them.
Because
Despite your
Leslie was
sending.
asking me about that, I did send it in
I know.
to
I know
Rocco,
you've been sending
or
it.
Rocky.
I don't think.
I
he's
don't
been-
know
Yeah.
about the other articles
I'm
either,
not sure he's putting. them
but
in
they
there.
did go on the Woodbridge Watch,
Is
Leslie.
that what
Yeah.
that is? Essentially, are we writing them for Woodward to watch, or?
No. I mean, we're putting them there. We're putting them out in our own mailing list as well. So
Yeah.
it's reaching some public.
Oh, well.
So. Yeah, he used to do them.
He used to do them.
Now he's
Now he's
seemingly
not.
ignoring us.
Okay.
But
Maybe because we're sending him too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we doing it too frequently? Should
I don't think so. We're only doing one a month. It's not like we're doing
That's what
like
we
one
were
every
doing
week or
anyway.
something
Yeah, okay.
crazy.
So every Woodbridge resident who gets energy audit done, $25 go to some fund.
Yes.
And what if you have done the energy audit in the past?
So the rule for them is you can't do them more frequently than every 6 years. So in that case, you would not qualify to be able to do one.
But that fund is not going to get $25 if somebody has done it in the past. It has to be a new sign.
Correct. You can't sign up to do it if you've done it within 6 years. But
If
so
you did it
therefore-
before 6 years,
Yeah.
then yes, you can
And
sign
I
up.
think I got mine done like maybe a year ago or so.
then that will not do.
Yeah.
And something that I had mentioned before we started was I'm very deeply troubled by the prospect of our efforts being somehow kiboshed by what may come up. In that I'm wondering if funding for things, incentives, whatever, is going to be rolled back in any way. None of us have a crystal ball, and if we did, it would be cracked. But I'm wondering if there's any chance we have to, on the back burner, consider all that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know how much we can do about it though.
Right. Well,
No, but I mean, we have to pursue it, but
right. Well,
I think we have to be realistic and at least consider alternative plans. Things that we might be able to do despite any reduction in, government funding or whatever.
What do you have in mind?
Our goal is to be sustainable. Apparently not the new people coming in, but we have to be serious and think about the possibility that our efforts will be, denied. And just maybe get a little more broad in our understanding and thinking of the future and what we can do despite what might happen. And that's my piece. But
Do you have
it's troubling.
certainly, do you have like a kind of like a specific idea or kind of thought process going forward with that to kind of look out for?
I think, I'm being mindful in the sense that obviously we have to follow everything that on a daily basis because it changes so fast. It goes from one day to the next. And I think we have to at least keep an eye, a pulse on where funding is coming from and sources that, depending on what these departments are going to end up looking like, could possibly do to reduce our efforts. I want to say watchdog to some degree, but I also want to say that I think we really have to consider what can be done without funding, without the programs that we're relying on.
We're very good at that.
It's probably bare basics,
Yeah.
but
Kind of what we do.
I would just like to say that we can't give up.
Yep.
We have to move
Right.
forward.
Right.
If we can't fly, like Martin Luther King stated, if we can't fly, then we run. And if we can't run, then we walk. And if we can't walk, we're gonna crawl. So we're just gonna keep moving. And, we'll keep moving, doing our job. So what we
Right.
think
should,
is,
But I think we should
yeah.
also be very mindful.
oh
as
yeah,
to what's
definitely,
going on.
we have to be mindful of it. Yes,
Have to be.
absolutely, yeah.
okay. So I think
Sorry.
the funding stuff is always in jeopardy, no matter what.
Yeah,
Well,
And
yeah,
so-
but I think it's big time in.
And the rebate things are, we were talking before computer people joined us. The funding with the rebates is always changing. It changed within this year, it changed always, so.
Yeah.
So those are really hard to predict of what will stay, because some of them say they have to be within a certain amount of time, some are good, like certain things pass that they're good until a certain time. And then other funds just run out. The one for the energy audit in the first place, that fund, that used to be for everybody, now it's only, I wanna say it's only for people who have oil heat. It's not for people who have gas heat and stuff, so, Anyway.
the pump,
no,
no, which one?
to be able to get the energy audit through AGS.
Okay,
It's only if you
Have
have
oil.
oil heat. It's only subsidized to the $75 if you
got
have oil heat.
Oh,
It used to be for anybody, but now that you have to have oil heat, because they want to get rid of the people with oil heat, you know?
Yeah,
It's
right.
not for the people, the gas heat, like, that's already efficient, that's as good as it gets, kind of.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
it's expensive too. It's very expensive. I mean, at one time, you know, the
Not
gas,
natural gas,
is going up, yeah. And
not
at
anywhere
one
near
time,
the electric or the oil.
yeah, I mean, at one time it was very efficient, more, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
less expensive, because I had a house in New Haven that I converted. And I loved it. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
But now the prices are also, you know, catching up to the oil. It may still be lower,
Yeah.
but
But
they're
it's
catching
not as
up.
big of a
Yeah,
gap
I
anymore.
guess in the broader
We saw that in the
perspective, I'm
it
saying
burns more
that not
efficiently, too.
specifically what, what the elements are, but more, I hope those programs are still there.
yeah.
That we're able to get audits, et cetera.
yeah.
That's something we just have, I mean, and again, I'm sorry, I was at another meeting where someone said, stock up on tuna fish and peanut butter. I mean, I understand, but we have to be realistic too as to what's going on. So, on that note, let's proceed.
Well, again, I do think one of our strengths is we are very good at figuring out ways to reuse and to
Yeah,
find ways to do things without money and without, I mean, even so, as many of you know, I just got a heat pump. I'm not waiting for the people to get through with my rebate, and like, I'm not gonna be surprised if they say it doesn't work out. I don't think you can depend on those kinds of things for it. So,
Yeah.
no matter what's going on.
and then the other
So-
thing is, like, the person that I was talking to, he's gonna use the rebate for himself.
What?
Yeah, just,
Oh, to subsidize his cost.
yeah.
But does that transfer
Oh,
to you? Is there
No,
a?
well, he went
So
up
he's
$500.
already listing it as part of the price.
Yeah,
I see.
alright, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
So-
wouldn't expect that.
Anyway, I think, I think as a committee and as a, it's part of our job to steward that to the community and to say, like, look, not that we don't want to incite panic and
Right.
all those kinds of things. Instead, we want to say, like, well, you know what, here's how, we're pushing that you do the stuff to be sustainable, not that you're doing it to save money.
right.
Yeah.
You're doing it to, let's think of what are other ways we can, join by nothing,
Yeah.
reuse your stuff,
Yeah.
upcycle your gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are ways we can do this in a sustainable way that is a positive thing too. So, anyway, but going back to, so in the January lecture, so Mazzara wants to co-sponsor, so what are the things that we want to make sure are touched upon that Diana's going to talk about? No, it's not, it's Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
So,
Did she just join?
Hello.
no, it's Tom.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Can you hear us?
I can't.
Okay, so let's talk about what are things that we think would be helpful, especially Stephanie O'Toole, people who didn't come to the first lecture. So, what would be helpful for you as a townsperson to learn about the energy audit process and the heat smart?
Can I just add too, that one of the things they do with the audits is they recommend, the first thing they do, recommend insulation. Okay, make sure your house is insulated, well insulated, so that I think that even if you didn't get an audit, or you got it 2 years ago, if you haven't gotten the insulation, that would probably be the first thing, to do, is the insulation.
Well, like maybe talking about the steps, because when someone's talking about like,
Mhm.
you want to be energy efficient, it's sort of like, I don't even know where to start.
Right.
Where do I
Right,
start?
right,
And so maybe writing down the steps
Yeah.
of how to
Yeah.
do this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Making it very easy.
Yeah, I think that's good. I was thinking maybe if she could start with sort of the big why do an energy audit, and then kind of what's involved, the steps, as you were saying, and then the costs, any rebates that she knows about, anything around, anything around there. And then what's involved with that. I mean, just kind of who, what, where, and why. And then for the second part of going net zero, what does she mean by that? I mean, is that an electricity thing, is it a heat thing, is it both, is it, and how does that relate to the energy audits? So if she could sort of, because she's put the two together, and so she has some thoughts about that, I'm sure. So I think it'd be really helpful to just explain kind of what somebody would get from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if she could, you know, in terms of our purposes, if she could just put together a very short blurb, I mean, we're talking like 3 sentences.
Yeah, just to be able to promo it.
Like, and maybe 1 sentence about who she is too, and then a picture. A picture always sells an event.
Yeah.
So it can be a picture of an energy, you know, like a
She's
blower
a
door
scientist.
thing.
Well,
I mean,
you
she's
know
a
what?
scientist.
Yeah.
No, but you know what we
Something.
might want to actually use as the graphic is the Heat Smart campaign stuff.
Sure, whatever
So-
the graphic
Mhm.
makes sense.
They're the Pace is helping us make all that stuff, so that's
Sure.
another way to
That's
use it.
great. So I think probably what you could do, since she's not here, is that, you know, pass on this and
Yep.
any other
Right,
ideas you
yeah.
guys have to her. If she can just write up a paragraph,
Yep.
run it by everybody weighs in,
Yep,
and
we can do that.
anything that anybody else wants to suggest, throw it in, and then but we need to do it pretty quickly to
Yep.
get that out.
Okay.
So we usually
What's
like
the
to
date?
get the,
January 18th, I think.
yes, we would like to start by the 18th of
Right, a month.
Be-
Especially
and
because
especially
people
with Christmas.
checked out.
I would love to see like a kind of like walkthrough process with it.
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like learning about the energy audit is really awesome, and you're like inspired, and then you go home and you start kind of doing something else, and you put it on the counter. So
Yeah.
if there would be like a bring your laptop or your phone, because that way you know we have the QR code for
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
like okay, take out your phone, we're
Right.
gonna scan, we're gonna register, they'll contact you. Now you've started the process.
Right,
So
Yeah.
they
You're
know
off and
that
running.
Yeah.
contacted, that's a great idea.
That is
So
a
you
good
don't go
idea.
home and forget about
I
it.
know, again, I think we use the Heat Smart thing as much as we can, because one, it helps with our sustainable CT goals,
Mhm.
but also, like, all these things go together, and we
Right.
may as well, like,
Sure, so
Use
coordinate
it.
it with that,
Mhm.
that's cool.
Now, the other
and
thing,
Pace is tracking how many people sign up, because
Yeah,
I asked when we started this, like, do you have a list of how many people in Woodbridge are even eligible?
right.
You know, how many people have had an energy audit, or, you know, because I think you actually, I guess you might not have to actually own the property. Maybe you don't. You just have to have a UI account. I don't know if you need to own your property, but nonetheless. But I asked how many are eligible, and they don't know.
I don't think there are many people in Woodbridge who have had the energy audit. I know that
I've had it 3
over the years
times.
it's been available, but I don't think a lot of people have.
I don't think a lot of people know about it.
I was required in order to install my solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
I got a call from my oil and propane company to do an energy audit, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I just did that.
Well, interesting if they-
But again, so we can, that might be a thing to touch upon, of like, why should you do it?
Why
So
should
what
we-
are the reasons?
Yeah,
And it's not just
exactly.
one reason, you know, it might be to
Exactly.
save money, it might be to see what you're eligible for, you know, like, if you need new appliances, do the audit first, because then you get money off
Right.
the appliances.
Well, what about solar? Are we promoting solar? I mean, I think that that's what we need to do too, because if you replace all these things and then you have solar, it's a win-win, you know, it's a win-win situation.
And she may be thinking of that in the net zero.
Right.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
And I think it would probably be more generalized just for the timing of saying like, you know, think of more alternative energy type things of different kind, not that anybody's gonna have wind power here,
I'm
but
not
you
the
know,
only one on my street that's solar,
right,
you know, I've got another neighbor, he put, I think 60, because he's got a pool, heated pool, and he's got garage, electric vehicles, so.
so,
Yeah.
okay.
So anything else anybody can think of, or did that?
Well, I think brainstorm on that, we'll start a little
Yeah.
blurb and we'll get that to
Sure,
you.
but- and then you have my email, I'll
Mhm.
send it to the others in the education committee, and then once everybody's had a chance to weigh in, we'll just.
Yeah.
And so if she could do that, actually, what's today, this is the
The
4th,
4th,
in the next week,
okay.
that'd be great.
On examples,
What?
guys, examples.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know when we replaced our roof,
Yeah.
they showed us pictures of like the snow and like it all melting off the roofs,
Yeah.
and they're like, that's bad.
Yes,
I was like, I
right.
didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
you should have
So
a nice
now
snowy
I-
roof if
Yeah,
you're
now I drive
insulated.
around.
I know
like,
you go
bad
by-
roof, bad
Exactly.
house. No good, no good.
Exactly, yeah.
So like examples of why.
Oh, and on some of the things that they might suggest too, because I've heard a lot of those suggestions, but that is interesting in itself. Like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
things might they touch on, like when you gave
Mhm.
us your whole spiel last week? Or
Right. Well, it helps, like you were saying before, with what you might, like, people's reasons are different.
Yeah.
Some might be for
Yeah.
saving money, some might be for efficiency,
Right.
you know.
Reducing your
Or somebody-
footprint.
Yeah, I hate my
Honestly,
drone
if
potatoes.
you're
But
watching
others,
it,
you may
go
not
do the audit
realize,
first,
you
'cause
think
you're-
you know all
it'll
the
help you
things,
that way.
and then it's like, oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't
that
think
too.
of that,
Yeah.
oh. I
Right.
didn't think of that, so
Yeah.
by
Right.
mentioning them.
Right.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
Thanks,
Nice to see you again.
See you.
Nice to meet you.
thank you.
All right.
If I don't see you,
Good to
have a
see you
wonderful
both.
Yes, have a good holiday.
All right. The Heat Smart campaign, you said in the town's newsletter, they will give $25.
To the residential assistance fund, it's like the food bank.
Every home
Yeah.
that completes it.
And so that's a town-specific fund?
Mm-hmm. And I don't know who's giving that money. It's not paid. Honestly,
Bye-bye, thank you, Mary.
Very nice, whoever's
Because it
doing
never
it.
came up before I saw it in the thing.
Oh,
So
the-
whoever's doing it, it's like
Oh,
here.
the-
It's specific to here.
City of
Is there anyone
Woodbridge
who signs
contribute.
up for the demo?
Completes the energy audit, I think.
Oh,
I didn't
oh,
read the newsletter.
got it.
So the city of
Yeah.
Woodbridge is going to contribute to the fund?
I think so. That's what it.
And
on
what,
the front page. I should have brought it with me.
I mean, how that fund would be used for what? To support
It's
which
the resident
activities?
assistance fund, so it's like they.
If somebody
annual
needs
need.
oil,
Yeah,
they
the
need
Oh, okay, okay, it's like an
electricity.
insurance type
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
Okay,
it,
okay.
you know, for
Yeah,
people
it's
that
like in town if you
need, if there's
Yeah.
a need, you know,
Okay,
if,
okay,
if,
okay.
you know.
so it's like
So
income
not
dependent.
necessarily sustainability related.
No,
No,
it's
It could
not
be
sustainability.
any-
It's like
yeah.
helping within our community.
Okay,
kind
okay,
of thing.
Which is
See,
consistent.
there's seniors, maybe seniors or
Got
a
it.
fixed income, then they can't,
Right,
yeah,
Right.
so,
Okay.
So there's a certain number of households in Woodbridge that
right.
are qualify for that.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So, and so this is going to that, which is
Awesome.
I thought really cool.
Yeah, it
I was
is,
like,
yeah.
that's another great reason to do it. Who ever
Yeah.
thought of that?
Right,
Anyway, I just
Capitalize
thought
on the
it was
giving
nice.
season.
yeah,
Okay, we got a lot to get through, so.
Oh, okay.
All right. Updates from last meeting. Alyssa, any more word on the child
Yes,
thing?
I spoke with him after I realized I was texting a landline, which I can fully admit. I have a note section, let me go through. We talked about quite a bit. Oh my god, no, what'd you do with my phone? Okay. So they have 2 recycling bins that they started off with 1 year ago. They average 2 a week, but the issue they're having is that there's like no one specifically in charge of emptying these recycling bins, and she said that the town, I guess what are they called, the
Public Works?
Public Works are very nice about coming and emptying them when she calls them, but it's clearly like not part of their regular duties, and they don't do it on a regular schedule. So I think that's something we would
What does
probably.
their recycling include?
It's 2 giant blue bins, and it's a mixed. So
It's like single stream.
yeah,
They're
single
doing it as
stream, yeah.
Okay.
So I think we talked about this earlier. If we do anything in public buildings, it's going to be an additional
Yeah.
job for someone, and how is that going to be disseminated to them or paid or whatever it's going to be. So she kind of felt like they were nice about it, but they were kind of like, I don't know who's in charge of this, so that is an issue.
But that's just something that has to come from town hall, and I
From
think that's what eventually is the plan. Is it is going to be it's
gonna be
we've
part
talked about
of a
it, it's
job
like, This is
description.
what we do.
Yeah, we just do
Right.
this, and this is, yeah. I told them they could recycle cardboard pizza boxes. They get pizza every Friday, as long as they don't have too much cheese or meat in them. They were very excited about that. They don't have a compost, but they said there's also not really a need, but they wouldn't mind starting a compost in their little garden area. The caveat to that, there's also works to move that WCC to the old church building, or that's next to, what's that white church that's there on the town green
First
over here?
Congregation?
Yeah, so that extra,
congregational.
yeah, the building on the side, they're kind of in works to move that and then
Huh.
update the playground there, so that would change the whole idea of their outdoor space. They would like to do an outdoor garden, they used to have one, but then I guess the teachers who left are, it's kind of
Yep.
fallen, and so has the senior center garden that was there. They do have all the kids bring their water bottles every day, so that's pretty sustainable. They love to accept used toys, so we can help promote that too. And they donate whatever is extra.
Can add that to your list, that way.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I can add that to my list. For
Can I
Saturday.
ask a quick question?
Yep.
So they're saying, town hall saying that that will be an extra position to have them come over and check those bins? I mean, come on.
No,
No,
it's
so
not an extra position. It's going to be, this is how the
It's part of your
sanitation
job.
stuff happens in the town campus. And it will include those things at some point. It's not gonna be right now, but once this is really, the decision is made to do it everywhere, it will be done everywhere. But I would say one thing that made me think of it when you were saying that about the pizza boxes being, their trash doesn't go to, like, their trash goes to the dumpsters and so does their recycling, which means that somebody else picks it up.
Interesting.
You know, so
I
I
don't
don't
think
know
they
if
know
that's
that.
actually included, you know, like
Yeah.
the
Right,
dumpsters
which
that are by the library.
Means you have to check, cause
Oh, that's a
not
good
all the
question.
places that
Yeah.
pick up recycling will take pizza
Right.
boxes for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
Okay, that's a.
So I think those are the kinds of things again that we do. I mean, that's great that came up because like we do have to iron that out because that is like the.
But if Public Works is
We'll
picking
just
up,
have
would
an
Public
extra.
Works bring
But
it
if
to the
they make it
transfer
part of-
station,
they just
or would
make
they
it
like
part of
hire
the-
Bizzuto to do it?
I don't know who's
But if they
this
just
I gotta
make
look
it
at
part
what
of the
those are.
routine,
Yeah.
and I know, it's like, it's not my job description. It's done.
Right.
Yeah.
But again,
But
I
believe
think this
me,
will be
you
a
know,
whole.
You know, you got the union, you
Evolution.
got, this is what I do.
Yeah.
It's gonna be part
But-
of the conversation.
But I think part of that is maybe you set up a meeting with Tony or Karen and say, hey, how do we just like bring this in? Because they're there all the time. You know, they're picking up this or picking up that and just adding one bin. And if it's only when they get called in because there's not a lot of, you know, it's not all the time. I don't know
You
how.
mean Public Works? You're talking about
Well, I
Public
think the
Works?
strength of it would be to do the whole campus at once and not just
So I'm talking about the
say
campus.
go to a child care center
Oh.
and do.
You
You
know,
know, it would be like
I don't know.
Here's the
Maybe I'm just
new layout
misinterpreting,
for
but it just seems as though
sanitation at campus.
at some point it's just like, all right, while you're over there grabbing this, grab that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like what they're doing, but they're
It'll get
averaging
there.
two. Yeah, it'll get there. They're averaging 2 full bins a week, which is quite a bit. So it needs to be emptied regularly, and they said they start throwing things out because it's not emptied regularly, which isn't what we want to see happening. Also, Tom, they gave me a little tour of the senior center, and there are recycling cans in the senior center, as you had mentioned, but I don't know where those go. If anyone knows where those go.
Yeah, I don't know.
mean, like-
There's like
I
a
can-
trash
so,
and a recycling
I
right
can-
next to each other.
Yeah,
But-
maybe Jeanette
Like
might know.
who those?
Yeah.
Where do they go?
Yeah.
No compost in the senior center either. And then the last thing was just that they would like to have like more outdoor sustainable space, more outdoor space for the WCC kids, which is, I don't know how much it's related to us, but that was a wish when I asked her what would she like to see for the center as far as sustainability.
If things are moving over closer to the church, the Boy Scouts, that's their home base. And I'm not thinking the recycling, but I am thinking the composting, because to do it well is to do the layering,
Yeah.
Right.
and that might be
Build the
something
boxes.
they would be
Somebody
willing
could do a
to
meeting
do. Like at
project
their
or
meeting, they
something,
add a layer of the leaves
Leaves
and they
and
wet
grass,
it,
got it,
and
yeah.
water it,
Yeah.
and then the
Compost.
WCC can add their compost
Yeah.
each, at the end of each week, and it
And
kind
you're
of,
training the next generation.
right, and it
And
falls
everyone
into a
being
nice
It's like a
system.
community
Yeah.
thing too.
Right, and
Exactly.
it brings in the community,
Yeah.
and they, I am pretty sure, would be very willing to do that. And I think Girl Scouts uses it as well, so, just Boy Scouts have been there
Is there any kind of timeline on that?
forever, so,
They said it was in the works. I can talk to my neighbor who I got the contact from because he's on the board and see where that's going. If there's any more movement on it,
So if
but
there's nothing I learned from reading the 2015 is that a lot of things have been in the works for a very
Well,
long
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
guess the
takes-
police
it takes
station
no
wants
idea.
to expand,
Yeah.
so that's why the WCC is moving.
Hmm.
The police station needs more space. That's what
Yeah.
she said.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's been on the table
That's been
there
on
for
the
a while.
table since
So
I was
again-
on
In the
the
works.
Board of
Yeah.
Selectmen,
We got a lot of works.
So again, at time,
I know, all our
timeline.
criminals here, I don't.
2005.
I know. It's kind of like the firehouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
How many
All right.
firehouses do we have now?
So many. Okay, next update. Tom, have
Just
you?
one essentially.
Tom, any update from Parks Department or Parks Association on partnering for any lectures, walking tours,
Woodbridge
etc.?
Land Trust?
Nope, that's different.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You were gonna talk with the Parks Association, right?
Oh, yeah. So the Woodbridge Park Association is very interested in working with us. And we just need to figure out what we want to do.
Okay.
Andrea, is Andrea there? I don't know.
No.
Urbano?
She is not
Sylvia Urbano?
Yeah.
in our meeting, no.
Okay. So she's also on the Board of Selectmen, so
Yes,
so she's on the Park Association with me, so.
yes.
Yeah, more than willing to work with everyone on anything we need to do. We just need to figure out what it is and to schedule it in.
We want to try to schedule her for Earth Day again to do a walk
Well-
in the morning.
I'm gonna add that.
Yeah, I think we had one person last year.
Yes, but I have an idea.
We have to better advertise.
Yeah, hold on, I gotta update everybody on
All right.
birthday
Oh,
stuff.
Hillary's excited.
At some point. Yes, I am excited.
Okay. I just
And
think
it
there
was
so
our
much
first-
going on.
yeah,
It was
Yeah,
really
yeah,
the
yeah.
first year of
Got
that.
The new library lady had an idea.
Great.
So it's all.
So, yeah, and she was very happy to do the one person.
Right.
Right,
No,
so-
she was very. That
Yeah.
part was fine. So
And
okay.
I was in South Carolina for a wedding, so I wasn't even able to help at all, so. I
We will never
won't be in
forgive
South
you.
Carolina again this year, so that's good.
That's good. Okay. So let's
Land,
think about that.
Land trust, you were asking about that also. Land is still interested in doing something. They need specific ideas of what you might want them to do.
Okay.
The person with whom I work was unavailable because of a family issue for almost a month. But I can remind her
Okay.
again.
Well, let's all
If
think
you
of that
give me
too.
some ideas of things you might want them
Yep.
to address.
So they just
More
did a walk
quickly.
of the CCW, which is, up in arms right now anyway, as part of our things we need to talk about.
Yeah.
I would love to do another one of those because I didn't even know that this one happened and kind of promote let's all appreciate our beautiful land here and do another walk with invasive species and native species and how it's an important part of the pollinator pathway, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Especially once spring comes, just to
Well,
gather community support for
What
that space.
does
So
what does the country club property fall under? Is it a
Town
Coopop?
owns it.
Is it Coopop land or is it?
It's Coopah.
it's Coopop,
Yeah. So
But they did this with Deep. It says I can pass this around to you. You can
Okay.
read it. But it's
it's very fancy.
yeah. This is the Connecticut. Once you donate, they give you this beautiful thing every.
I think they give that to everyone. I got that.
Oh, do they? Okay.
Participating in the.
That's how they try to get you.
Oh,
is
okay.
they
Well,
give you
my
that.
property backs up on it, so I have to donate.
Because I am, and I just talked to them today, they've got a lot of information that is in process. She says it's not finalized, but they have new information about invasive species and controlling things. And a lot more just research on where the ticks are and what they're doing. If that's something you're interested
Yeah.
in, I would be happy to talk to her as well.
I think a lot of homeowners with the current infestation of mouse population,
Yeah.
we've had an exponential growth over the past year. I think it's increased 400% since the pandemic.
Of mice?
Of mice, yeah, it's insane. And that's including the deer, it's
Yeah.
a vector for deer
The
ticks.
white-footed ones.
Yeah. So I think a lot of
That hide
people
under
would
the
be
roots of the
interested.
Burberry.
Also, that whole Yale study is kind of falling apart. So I think people are looking for another lifeline.
Yeah.
With that.
They
We didn't
deemed me
qualify
not
for
having
that.
enough ticks, which I
Well, they
We
did
don't
not
have
deem me not
We
having
don't
enough
have
ticks.
ticks.
I know that's what I was like. That's
Which is weird because they keep coming on my cat. So
Yeah.
No,
Suspect.
we have no ticks.
really.
My property is a weird property. It doesn't border any woods.
Oh, so you get.
I have like all woods, and they said we
Well,
don't.
we have
Really?
And my chickens
we
are-
have ticks, mice, and Lyme.
I have
I've had
Come on
all
over to my
that.
property.
Yeah,
Well, I have it all, you've got a lot of
We have
woods,
pest
yeah.
control, and since we've had that,
Where did you
I
get
cut
that
down a lot.
400%
I have no
increased
mice in
number
my
from?
bowl.
I got it from our mouse guy who came to eradicate the mice in our house who
Yeah,
had
really?
infested.
Yeah, that explains. We had so much mice
Not
activity this
all.
year.
Yeah,
we
us
did
too. And we
too.
never had any fighters who lived there. It was insane.
always
And
had
we have a
mice.
cat. The cat is
No,
This is
no,
the first year I
no,
haven't had mice.
they don't
I
work.
have fox
Oh,
pest
they all
control.
came to our
and-
places.
Oh,
so
so
you
yeah,
have to
they have
be very
some,
conservative
I
about the
very
way you
I
use
am.
them.
They just migrated
But
out
it
from
absolutely
the
works out.
moved into everybody else.
Yeah,
problem
we have
Use kitty litter.
wheat kitty litter.
It's wheat. And the mice were stockpiling I was finding like piles
Piles of it
huge
cached
piles.
around the house.
Like in my like snow boots put away for the winter, and
Right.
like I dump
It's
out
my
like a cup and a
overstanding
half
is to put
of
my foot in a boot and
kitty litter because it was the mice
Mouse
stockpiling
traps.
food all over the basement. There was
Yeah.
piles of
Yeah, they were
kitty
taking
litter.
nuts from outside. We found in our basement cached
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah,
acorns and
yeah.
polynoses and stuff, like
Yeah.
because they weren't eating our food.
Yeah, that's why we keep finding the acorns places. I don't
Yeah.
find it.
They were
Yeah,
doing
I
my,
find
they were
acorns.
doing my
Acorn pile.
dog food, the dried
Oh.
dog food,
Yeah.
and they put it in the carburetor of the truck.
Oh
So
gosh.
the truck wouldn't start, so we had it towed, and they opened up the carburetor and it was full of dog food.
That's funny.
Like, what are you people doing?
Big bag of 25-pound bag of dog food. They're going. No wonder your car doesn't
Oh
start.
gosh. Yeah. So anyway, something about mouse control would be very helpful.
Yeah.
But the
I can talk to those people if you want. They really had a handle on a bunch of stuff that was going on. Our property, well, the back part of it, in the beginning of the summer, they said was terrible for ticks. Gave us some ideas of things and what not to do, etc. And today she told me she didn't find one. I mean, of course it's freezing out there, but
Yeah. Anything under 34,
they
you're not
still
gonna find
live, and she's not sure that that's going to be incremental and part of their reporting. They're not sure what happened, but they're working on it. And
Does
whatever
anybody
it is, I'm
want
good
to
with it.
write an article about this kind of thing for the next?
Leslie, you want to write an article about it?
Well, I have to talk to her first because I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know all the specifics, but
Then
I mean, I
maybe.
can attempt to. I'm not a professional, I'm the recipient,
That's all right.
but
That's all
I
right.
certainly can talk to her about it.
I'll help you if you want.
You could have it be an interview. The article could be an interview. That's fine.
Yeah,
Again, I like if we change up the format more. 'Cause
Yeah,
sometimes people
yeah,
don't respond to,
yeah.
the
Right,
usual. Like
right.
it's like, oh, that's too many words, too many paragraphs. But if it's like an
Interview with an
interview,
expert.
yeah,
And,
that's
and
absolutely
what
fine.
I found too, because I had my garage and my kitchen redone, like, you know, I found that when they built the house, they left a lot of gaps,
Right.
you know?
And that's part of the energy audit stuff too. Is
Yeah,
it's where
you
the
know,
air gaps,
and-
but the mice gaps.
You know, but they
Also.
left gaps, and so the mice would be able to get in there.
Yeah. They were
Yeah.
getting in through our garage.
Yeah,
Tiny
exactly,
little hole
exactly.
in the
They
garage
did
door
nothing.
where
They
it
just
closed.
used a
They don't have
trap.
He
they
said
don't,
anything your thumb can fit through.
they don't have any bones, so they can get in.
Yeah.
You know, they
Oh,
can
yeah.
fit right in.
Squeeze through,
Yeah,
yeah.
squeeze right in. You know.
Cholesterol.
They're
Okay.
like cats, they can dislocate their shoulders.
Our air conditioning system, and that was so expensive.
Ugh.
But that's
That
when
makes
we
such a
decided
mess.
to get professional help. But it didn't work, and someone suggested the whole mothball routine. It's so easy. It's so easy. You just take them, you put them in mesh, and you just do one in each space, not a bag, just one. And it repels them. They hate it. And we're fine.
But then your house smells like mothballs.
The other one that works really well is peppermint. If you
Oh,
take
peppermint.
peppermint and you put it on
I tried
cotton
that one. I did.
and you put it
Oil.
in your shed, I mean, that deters them also.
All right. So let's go in that direction, Leslie. I'll help you with that.
Okay.
I'll try to find out exactly how to contact her too, if you want.
Okay.
Okay. Next update, we have 2 official new members. Sorry, that should have been like your first thing. It was later than it updating, so we are
But weren't you
official.
gonna tell us about something?
Yeah, she's not
Oh,
there
you're
yet.
not there. Just go- I'm sorry.
Somebody
With the agenda. No? All right, don't worry.
Goodness.
So that's Stephanie and Ton are official. Atul, you're still officially here, so we appreciate that.
Official and unofficial.
You are
Yeah,
unofficially
whatever. Unofficial.
a member, officially here. We appreciate that. Keep coming. BJ, any update? Did you have a chance to talk to the Orange Transfer Station?
I did not because I have to actually,
That's okay. We can
be available
It's been
at,
like 6 times that the other things have been on here. That's only the first time
Yeah,
it's been on
and-
here.
Yeah,
so-
that's good.
have to be available during their open
No worries.
hours,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
right,
thinking
which
during
is
the break
ridiculous.
I'll
Yeah,
go.
Oh yeah.
Because they're not open when I'm ever
When you're
available
open.
to go when I'm open. So that hasn't happened yet. But I can tell you that the film recycling is doing well at Beecher.
Oh, good.
Rejoin back.
Thanks to my Amazon shopping.
Yeah.
So Yeah, and
Keep
it's
forgetting.
a little bit of a pain in the neck to do, but
Yeah.
whatever, because I'm lugging out like 20 pounds every Friday.
Yeah.
And dropping it off and sending in a little photo and whatnot. So it looks like we'll hit that 1,000 pounds mark. It's not a lot of, when you look at the town, it's not a lot of people doing it. So I do want to talk to Orange about how much they take in and what their system is, because, maybe the town, maybe our transfer station can do it and, get their own baler, and you kind of work off paying for it
Yeah.
through their collection of it. So it's not like a major cost
Expensive.
intake thing.
Are we required when we drop them off to take off the tags?
They're supposed to be,
But they'll take them at the stores if you.
well, they don't know the difference, but like rude. I will say like,
It's like, are you supposed to wash out your recycling? Yes.
yeah, and the other part though is like I'm taking
lot
it.
of
So
work.
if people are putting in the wrong thing, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Like we get a few at the bin near the gym, kids I know, or teachers dropping in like their little water paper cup thing. Or there's a couple like candy or snack wrappers in.
Yeah.
And then some people are putting more like cellophane type stuff.
Right.
And I'm having to like pull
sort
it
it
all
out.
out. And it's like,
And that's what we need to show.
nobody wants to do that. The transfer station,
Yeah.
Right, they're not.
Public Works isn't gonna do
Yeah,
that.
no.
That's the
we-
problem with having, that's what, if we have it at the library or have it here in town hall, it's like, well, who's gonna do that?
Yeah, and,
No one wants to.
Let's keep it at Beecher's, so Beach can
if
do
that-
it.
but nobody should have to, like, people need to learn to do
Right.
it
We need
correct.
an
Yeah,
educational
exactly.
process.
You know,
Yes,
a little bit of a label
Maybe
on there,
move it
fine,
away.
but cut your Amazon label off before you.
What if you move it away from the gym
You know.
then?
There's not, that one is, it's not bad, it's like a couple here and there, and training, so we teach and train the teachers and the kids, that one's minimal. But there's definitely a couple people who don't really check to make sure it's film, and they're definitely putting in cellophane-y stuff. It's kinda like, I'm just gonna put all my,
Instead of,
yeah,
Like that
anything
is not-
plasticky
oh, yeah, that
clear,
is
I'm gonna
amazing.
drop in.
whereas, here we go, look, this, see how it's much more, it will like,
Oh, it is.
It
Get on my
has to be
butt.
stretchable,
Tom's
right?
calling you.
Stretchable, yeah,
Yeah.
some, like your
Yeah, it
contact
has to be
making it,
stretchy.
maybe we could make a poster and show examples.
well, we did, we've done that.
No, but even like when we have the presentations, you have that poster,
Yeah,
up so that people can visually see it or, take a picture of it and.
yeah.
Yeah, I could do a better job at the open houses next year too, because I didn't really know exactly what I was doing, and I only went to one. But I feel like that's a pretty good captive audience.
Yeah, for them there,
I
and
know. But it was Lana was saying that she went to a birthday party and Diana was there too, and there was obviously a lot of trash generated by a birthday party, and there was a lot of plastic stuff because everything, all the
Tom has
Plates
one.
Plates
and
and
the-
napkins.
Tom wants to speak.
all those things come in the plastic, and they were showing them how, and a lot of them apparently it was like a kindergarten family, and they all were like, oh, we had no idea this was a feature.
Yeah,
No.
so
So
I've
it's
written about it so many times in the
I know.
newsletter.
What's supposed to happen to that cracker wrapper?
Tom has
What's
something
supposed
to
to
say.
happen to that thing?
All
Cracker
right.
wrapper?
All right,
yeah,
Tom,
Tom has something to say.
Ladies, so BJ, people at the school. Would it be possible to maybe within the science curriculum, and maybe you bring it up at a Board of Ed meeting, to try to educate the kids and bring them in through either through the science or through environmental, something like that. Maybe include something like that so that we can grab these kids in elementary school and try to teach them, because I know that the curriculum's pretty set, but the Board of Ed does have a curriculum committee.
I can ask and try.
I
Okay, go
could
ahead.
help you bribe the new science teacher. I have a bunch of supplies to get rid of.
but the STEAM teacher is not.
Isn't the
doing-
person that does it, and it's kind of like our food diversion.
Yeah.
Some of the teachers are going to do it, and some of them are not.
What about the specials, like
So
health
No, I
and
get that, I
testing?
get that. I mean, I was on the Board of Ed, so I understand trying to get them to buy into it. And I think part of that is, you gotta get them to buy into it. And maybe we set up some time, maybe we figure out, someone
Maybe we
can
go to a Board of Ed meeting.
Yeah, and I can talk to the
Board of
health
Ed
teacher
meeting
though.
and the Sustainability
Yeah, if it's
committee
one
and
person that's responsible, it's a
get
lot
on the
easier
agenda
than
to talk
when
about that, because
it's
I think it's
assigned
important
stuff by
that
homeroom.
the kids learn early what the difference is. Like, you shouldn't have to go through the stuff to weed out the stuff that we're not interested in getting. And I think once you start to teach the kids to put certain things aside, and I know there's a lot of changes even at the transfer station as to what's considered recyclable and not. It almost seems like every 6 months they change whether pizza boxes are recyclable or not, but that's a whole other issue. But maybe we need to set up some time and get on the agenda for the Board of Ed and talk about that, because if we're talking about the plan of conservation and development, and we're talking about trying to change people's thinking, if we get the kids to go home and say, Daddy, don't throw that beer can in the trash. Throw it in this.
That's 10 cents.
Throw it over here.
No,
Recycle that.
that really does make a difference.
Yeah, it does.
I will
It does.
tell you, a lot of the parents
Yeah.
that are doing it got it from their kids.
Yeah.
From their kids kids going home and saying, I learned this and we can't throw that in anymore. I'll bring it to school. So, I will talk to the health teacher because that might be the
I'd
easiest.
love to be on the other side. I put up with the people on the other side for a long time. I'd like to be back on the other side. So, I mean, if we want to do that, I think that's a good place to start. And then I know, BJ, you work really hard at Beecher to get people to recycle and to put everything into the right bins and all that. But I don't necessarily think there's enough going on educationally. And I think we need to try and get the teachers invested in it. And if you get to the curriculum committee, maybe through science or through, environmental studies or something like that, we gotta catch them early.
Would the health teacher like, what if I came in and said, this is what we recycle, having not
Yeah.
just the health teacher do it?
No, absolutely. It'd be great if we had other people even coming in and doing it. It's if the health teacher said, yeah, I could fit that in, because really it's a one lesson
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah. And
Then-
it's only a day, or it's one lesson out of a day.
That
And the
would
kids
teach.
get it every
And she hits every
couple of months.
class.
They start to remember that stuff, and
Class and every-
a lot of these kids, they remember that, and of course they'll badger their parents. And
Well,
I mean,
I started in elementary school, I think it was 4th grade, because I remember the room I was in, and with Ms. Campbell and Mr. Alagna, and we had someone who came in and was explaining colored tissues and paper towels was like in style, and they
Yeah.
said, well, think about it, does your paper absorb as much if it's already absorbed the colors? Is it going to do its job as well? And what happens to it when you dispose of it? Where are those dyes going? And I still remember that, and I'm like, oh, we can only buy white from now on. We don't need these pretty patterns. Like, you're right. Those fancy birthday napkins are terrible. And so since 4th grade, since I was 10, I was like, nope, you only buy white paper products because,
What about the bleach in them? You gotta
Yeah.
get the brown paper products.
well, they didn't have brown then.
Oh, that's true.
somewhere.
That wasn't a
We
thing
have-
back
we have to
then.
get
Sorry,
the
I'm
thing.
old.
Have any of you,
But it would be nice if the health teacher, that's the one and done, and now it goes to the kids, but it would be nice to get it official in the curriculum with Board of Ed so that it goes to the teachers at the
Yes.
beginning of the year that this is your curriculum,
Yeah.
and they're going to get some of it in the health class, but you've got to live it in the classroom
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
because it doesn't happen in
And,
all the
and
classrooms.
we can have as members of the Sustainability Committee, and when we become an official committee, right, Hillary? When we
Yeah, I
become
don't
an
know what
official
that is,
committee.
but I think
would,
it's on the
we
docket.
can,
It's in
we
the
can go
works.
in there and we can do that, and we can show up to be a featured speaker about whatever it is we need to do.
That would be
But I
great.
think, you know,
And
I'd be willing
Annalise
to
is
do
in
that.
support of it. Like she loves you.
She's totally in support of it, and there's a lot of teachers that are like great about it and appreciate my nagging, but then there's the
You're not
ones
gonna get everyone no matter what.
that are like,
Yeah, not
Her
So
because
again.
maybe somebody else's
we have
next.
to get
then.
everyone.
right,
You know?
sometimes it takes a different
A
Yeah.
voice.
different person to nag them.
Yeah, a different voice.
Obviously, there's a bunch of you who are invested in Beecher, and that's great. I mean, I was in a school system for 39 years. But anyway, is there a chance that you've ever done, and you may have done this already, some sort of incentive, competitive incentive, like who collects the most cans, who whatever, remembers to do whatever. Sometimes then you get more kids involved,
And how
and
would you manage
it
that?
builds
don't-
on your mind. Of course, the educational piece.
Yeah, we're very
What's the
anti-competition.
carryover? What
We're
do you
very
think?
anti-competition, and the
Sherman's
kids,
very anti-competition.
and the kids don't need that.
Yeah.
The kids do it because
No, I
it's
mean,
the
as a
right
group,
thing to do.
For each room or whatever, not individuals.
They
No,
know,
no,
but they
won't
don't
do
need
that-
it.
that- the
They
different
don't need
classes
it. The
way.
kids
Yeah.
are willing to do it. They just
Oh,
have to be informed. And some of them are, and others are not. And they just need to be informed. But to reach all of them is difficult. Like even the food diversion, if all the teachers didn't play the
All kids eat in the
slideshow.
cafeteria, but all the teachers don't go in the cafeteria necessarily, so that was hard to reach them.
Yeah, so once the kids learn it, the bulk of them are doing it, you know, and then there's some that just can't, and there's accidents and mistakes that happen, and that's fine, and that isn't going to pollute it so much that it's an issue, right? If, you know, like, when in doubt, throw it out, don't contaminate it. If you contaminate it too much, it's no good, then it's all trash. But the couple kids that make a mistake and the couple kids that really just don't understand it and can't do it are not gonna contaminate it to that extent. You know, a yogurt container got in the food waste. One yogurt container isn't gonna kill it. But the majority of the kids just need to learn it.
No, you're right, but I think part of that is, so I work for Liberty Mutual. I was in Boston I went to the home office, they have a cafeteria, and I was confused when I walked out of the cafeteria because they've got so many different bins, right? This one's for landfill, this one is for recycling, this one is for this one is for that. And here I am standing here with my plastic container that I got my salad in, and then I've got the cup where my coffee was in, and I've got napkins and forks, and it's, you know, what goes where, you know, and I think if we can at least get to the kids young, because you got old guys like me who are standing in front of all these bins, like, which one do I put it in?
No,
You know,
I agree,
I
so,
think that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I think we gotta move on
Yeah.
because we have a lot to cover.
Seven.
yeah,
And
we
the
have
kids are
good
at 7:06,
ideas for what
so-
to do with that, so.
Okay. Yes, they are. They're very good ideas, and I love it. Okay, I'll do the update for Earth Day stuff now. So the last year it was the library who did Earth Day with us as the people, and so the new head of adult services reached out because, as we know, Jen left last year, right?
that
the day
Donna?
No,
Oh.
it is not Donna. Her name is Jenna, which is a nice transition from Jen to Jenna.
Okay.
And she's also delightful, just like Jen was. So, and probably still is, but in her new position. So, so Jenna had a really great. She's from Brantford and was coming from the Brantford perspective of how festivals and such
do a
are
lot,
done. And they
yeah.
do a lot of
Library
big
and
ones
town.
and like full weekend. She was like, "Oh, you don't do it the full weekend because they do stuff from like Friday night to Sunday." And I was like, "Well, that would be delightful, but that's not happening, I think."
Not yet.
However, you know, because the limitation for us is when the town buildings are open because that's when public works and stuff works. However, so she said, "Well, what about putting, you know?" So we talked all about how, you know, it was organized last year and what, you know, all the different parts of it and everything. She was very excited. And she said, "Well, what about putting the walks and stuff on the Sunday?" And I thought that was genius because what if we have, because like, it was hard for
Advertising.
people to be pulled away from where they were
Right.
too. Like Andrea was running her farm stand and doing
Right,
the Board of Selectmen
right.
and going off on the walk. So like, what if you had the sign up for the walk? That way, it doesn't end up or like to expect just one person, or to expect 20, or you have to have 2 walks because it's just so fun and exciting. And because Bethany is hopefully going to be more involved this year, because they were saying like, well, we can lead some walks, and I was like, oh my god, you can't take our people away and all the way up to Bethany, they'll never come back. But again, yes you can if it's the next day. So what if we do all of those like outsourced things
Mm-hmm.
that don't depend on a building being open on Sunday?
Love it.
And that way,
Spread the wealth.
It's a 3-day weekend festival. And we could get the 3-day weekend band.
Yes, well, we already do. But so yeah, do we like that?
Do we
Separating it.
Free cycle to Sunday.
So that again
Although
just
that's
depends
still-
on where we're doing
I would
it.
say it's still an issue of the where.
So what about the church? Had you thought about that?
I
think you
thought
had
we
said
checked
something.
with them originally. They do their own things. They actually had an event during, like, they do their own things as
So
well.
we can't
So
use
they
their
actually
parish.
had an event the same day, I think early in the morning.
Right.
So there's no way we can be taking up that space for that long. And they have meetings there, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts. And not that we can't ask, but I doubt it.
Okay. Any other place that we can
What's the
think of?
condition of the old firehouse?
I thought it was.
It's got stuff in it, right? Like
I
trucks.
don't even know that. Well, yeah, like where the bays are and stuff.
One of the bays has the antique fire truck.
And
Yeah, I
boat-
know, but
there's like a
those are
boat. But I also
movable
thought
things.
that the space was not habitable.
That's what I'm saying, is it an
I
unsafe
thought it was.
space?
I thought
Tom,
it
you
was
have any idea
asbestos,
about
'cause that's why I think it cost. It was like the many $million because I was like, how can it cost that much money to renovate a space? But it's
I
because
didn't hear
there's
the
a lot of
question.
things that need to be done.
The old firehouse, is that like habitable? Could we host something in there on Earth Day?
I don't think it is, yeah. They're working on cleaning it out, is what we were told. And I know that there were, Laura, you might remember this from Coupop. Weren't they storing some kind of gymnasium equipment in there too, antiquated stuff? It was mostly storage.
Well, they were
And
storing
they're still working
the
on
hose.
cleaning it out.
They were.
Well, right now, the fire department's, they're finally building the
Right,
shed behind the
Right,
firehouse
behind
to
it,
move
yeah,
a lot of the stuff that was in the old firehouse over into the shed.
right.
But is it a safe space? That's the first question. If it's not a safe
I don't know.
space, then you're talking about construction before
Yeah,
being
yeah,
able to
yeah,
use it.
yeah.
Clearing something out from someone who does it constantly is not a
Well,
big deal.
it's a question, we can ask.
I know, I do,
Could-
we
Could
thought
we
Tom
host
might
the
know.
clothing swap in there is kind of what we're getting at.
Oh, okay, that was the question I was looking for. Yeah, so by then, I'm not sure. I would hope that
Tom, is that sort of like the purview of the chief, or like who would say if we can use that building?
It depends on when the shed is finished, and as soon as the shed is finished, everything's gonna get moved
It moved
over
out,
to the
yeah.
shed. So, right now, it's pretty much storage for the fire department until the shed is built, and then, once the shed is built, we'll move everything over.
But isn't the top, the second floor all done?
No, upstairs, at the old firehouse?
Yeah,
No.
I mean, they had a big room, we had meetings in there at one time.
Yeah, we used to have the meetings up there, but it's not ready for anything. I mean, it wouldn't be safe to have the public going in there.
Okay,
Okay,
well, I
so
think
that's-
we
Yeah,
need.
that was the question, is it
Yeah,
a safe
yeah.
space or not? If it's not a safe space, doesn't matter.
No, but right now it's not, but by the time.
I can find out tomorrow.
By the time we're ready for Earth Day, I don't know if, it may be ready
It
by
won't be
then, I don't know.
renovated by then though. If it's not,
It
it's
just-
safe.
Yeah, it's just not, right now it's not, but I can't tell you
We used to have meetings
definitively
there, so.
the day of the event that it is or isn't ready. I mean, I think right now
Upstairs.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
Right.
upstairs
Right now,
space.
the process it's being built behind the firehouse right now. And it depends on how quickly it gets done, because we're approaching, it's getting colder and, however long it takes to complete it, but, they're building it. So I don't have a timeline right now.
I don't think we can depend
okay,
on this.
I'll find out tomorrow.
Thank
I'll-
you.
It's not
Okay,
something
Alright.
that you can depend on. I mean, you
Right,
can't say,
What about the
We're gonna-
senior center space that's in the basement
They won't
there?
let us.
They won't?
What if they pull the fire trucks out of Actual firehouse.
We need to
They
try
won't
the
either.
sword.
No.
That
No,
was
they
it.
won't do that either. That's true.
How about
Enthusiastic.
the old school, the behind the, where we vote?
The center.
The center
Do we
building.
have the budget to actually rent another large tent so that we could put the free cycle wherever we want? Like how expensive was the tent? The beer garden tent?
How much was that tent? I'd have to look. I think it was like $800
That's not big
or
enough.
something. Yeah.
It's not big enough?
No. And then you're leaving everything
Right,
outside
it's
all
also the
night.
question
all
of like,
week.
yeah, that's the bigger problem. And that was only for a weekend that it was that much. We can't rent a tent for that period of time and have the stuff open to the elements.
I mean, there's
And
a
we can't
chance it
move
could
it
still
over.
be in the gym. That's not off the table
Have we
yet.
looked into that at all?
Alyssa, do you have your?
I don't have an official, I have
Do you have charger?
planted the seed.
Oh, you're also losing. We're both at no battery.
Yeah. Sorry, just FYI, everyone on the meet,
Yeah.
I'm losing battery, so you might cut out at any time.
No
Yeah,
plug?
And we have no.
I forgot my
We'll
plug.
have to take notes.
Do you have a computer with you? For
It's
the
in the
charger?
car. Do you wanna go run
You
it
have a
again?
charger?
I can switch to my phone after.
But do you have the charger in the car?
Yeah, do you wanna run it
Could you
again?
please? That's pretty good.
So the gym is not, I don't have an answer yet, it's not out of the question, but
Twizzlers.
I'm thinking, what if we didn't take the gym floor until,
Right. That
Wednesday.
worked out for us, as long as the stage was mostly
well, no, it
clear.
didn't work out for us, cause that year we did that was me,
Yeah.
and it was a nightmare.
Well, we are more prepared now for the.
It isn't cause of that, it was cause of space.
Yeah.
It wasn't the manpower, it's a space issue. You can't fit more manpower on a little tiny stage, and we only had half of the stage. But we'd have the whole stage now, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
And if we go in there knowing that we can organize in a different way anyway.
we can do it, we did know that then, but again, we only had
Yeah,
half the stage.
Yeah.
So,
If we
it's a
reserve
maybe.
it Thursday, Friday, we can start pulling stuff out.
Right, so I'm hoping they'll give it to us
Center
Thursday through Saturday, but it might be very cool to even move that to Sunday and not,
Think people would come back on Sunday to do the free cycle?
I
yeah.
don't know. Let's think about it. Let's think of, play around
I'll
with
get
it
a charger.
because it's like that's when I first we're talking about the walks thing. It was like, once
That
you like
is so
roll around, you're like,
popular.
wait a minute,
The
that would
walks
be so
or
great.
The free set.
Yeah, it is a popular event, and we didn't get the same kind of pull last year because we were at the school,
Right.
and I think we'd get a lot more people if it wasn't closer to town center.
Get a charger when they.
I know, right? If it's right there, because people didn't even know to go
Yeah.
necessarily. And as I was telling Jenna, like the giving up your parking spot at that,
Oh,
like
yeah,
here
you
was
don't
like,
wanna-
I can't, like even when we were trying to like go back and forth, it was like, oh gosh,
Mhm.
it was a challenge to do that. So
The other thing is like from a selfish perspective is I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy to run that on Sunday after we're doing that all Saturday. I mean, you do most of it, but I mean, we were still there for 5, 7 hours,
Right.
however long. I was exhausted afterwards.
I know.
To get up and then do like another like 2 hours of pre-sorting
Plus, the other part about it, remember, was we had the benefit of the Goodwill truck to get rid of everything.
Want to kind of keep that all together
And while they are delightful, and they probably would come back, but it's still just another piece.
to organize.
So again, like play around within your head of like what locations. Yeah,
The gym would just be ideal because it's right there in the center. Everything. Like, go head over there, just pop through, see what.
And you'd see people because
With
the other
bags
part
of
of it
stuff.
too. Exactly, you'd see people with the bags,
Which
and you'd be
gym?
like,
where we vote.
"Where'd you get those?"
Right,
bags?
and you could put it
Where
on
we
the
did
back,
it 2
I'm
years
thinking.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, okay.
on the stage,
Yeah.
there's room on the stage too.
Well, that's what she. But yeah, so she said the stage would have the whole stage out, but it's really they have basketball and like other sports games there, so it's making sure we reserve it before the winter season gets set, so that we can have those for
Yeah,
spring season.
spring,
whatever. Yeah.
So, okay. That's that update. So again, start thinking about other things with Earth Day because again, so we have to figure out anything else we have to like lay the foundation for ahead of time. So whether
You're
it's
doing
asking
the
for
shredding?
gym, probably all
Yeah,
those
that
same
was
things
very
again.
popular. That was very popular.
Yeah.
Is it gonna reach?
I don't know.
Am I gonna hold this on my lap?
Thank
Maybe.
you, Jane.
Good job.
Once you've got some battery, I need some.
It's not recognizing it.
Try the other.
What port?
How many ports do you have here, Sophia? Oh.
2.
Did it shut down?
Nope.
That's weird, why, is it plugged in all the way? Cause if it fits, it should.
Yeah, it should be. It's a USB-C. It's a little loose though.
Could go ding.
Let's see if it works for
that
you,
plug?
Hillary.
Does the plug not work or something?
That could be it too, although he's plugged in here. I think I've used that plug
But he's
before,
using
I
it.
probably
You're using
charged
it.
Yeah, it works.
It works, he's using it.
Sometimes though, I'm like at home, our
Right,
electrician
the top
did
and
one is
bottom.
bad and one
Yeah,
is good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, sometimes one is set to a light switch,
Yeah, that's how my house is.
and that may be perfectly fine,
This
it might
one's
be one of
dead.
the
I'll
light
go on my
switches.
phone.
I don't know, it's
My
working.
phone's got some juice.
We just
Nope,
got rid of
not
everybody's.
those.
Oh, you're gonna do it that way. Okay.
Timeline for the WCC move is summer. Move by summer, FYI. Like we lost you.
Okay. I'll try not to do anything too exciting while there. Do we want to do it before we get to the POCD thing, which is
It's worth
the next 100
what she
years?
left in there.
Let's
It doesn't hurt to add, but I think part of it
They're having their own
is,
meeting.
it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit. I mean, they have a community room that's right in the front, otherwise you have to go around the back.
Center Road.
So I
Where
think,
their old, where their old child care center used to be,
right,
correct?
yeah, so I think part of that is, you want to try and keep everything as close to the center as you can, because I think you lose people.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the problem with the walk that Andrea led with one person.
Right.
And I give her a lot of credit because she did walk with that one person. But I think part of the problem is you get too many things going on,
Assembly for the.
and people, and you know, it's just
Too
people
overwhelming.
get caught up. It's like, oh, we'll walk that. You know, we don't need to walk. We'll just.
How big a space do you need? I mean, is it a classroom?
No, an auditorium.
If Free Cycle's not gonna be in the center of town,
No,
it should stay at Beecher because people know that.
Talking about the recycling?
No,
It's
the
free
You
reason,
go
cycle,
somewhere else, you might as well go to Beecher.
last year we took up the whole, back auditorium of
Oh,
Beecher Road School.
Yeah, the
Like,
South Assembly.
So why not do
because
that
there's a classroom that is used for many
Sure.
things in the center building as close to the gym.
That's why
This
it's
was
like
the event.
I mean, we had room to
And
spread out,
The other thought
but we
too.
definitely used the whole space. We didn't need the whole
Really
space
loud.
to
Sorry.
sort, but we definitely need the whole space to spread out.
It's like either quiet or loud.
It's either quiet or echo.
Well,
Central.
the last time I went to
Might be
the
How
also-
about that room in the library where sometimes those meditation sessions happen?
Not big enough.
Yeah.
The whole self-assembly.
If we're gonna do that, we might as well be in the gym
Yeah, that back.
It's a pretty good size space.
at center school, which will probably work out,
Yes.
probably, not 100% yet, but probably.
Take up that,
So what if you
Their
did
meeting
the
room,
free
which is
cycle
right
like the
in
weekend
front there.
before?
I don't really want it at a different time, especially we're exhausted, it's the same people doing everything to
Yeah.
have it twice. And it,
We
Kinda-
need Goodwill that takes all the stuff afterwards.
yeah, it's built into the whole event.
but it's
Well, so
you're
the
not
other thing
available
that
then.
Jenna brought up too
Yeah, I think the gym
was
is.
because I was telling her how we lost the UI bus, and she was like, she had said, why not move the whole thing a week earlier, and then we don't compete with other birthdays. And I was like, well, because it always is
I mean, it depends
spring
on,
break the weekend
depends
before.
on
I
the
said,
day,
but
right? What the weather's like.
why not move it to
Problem.
May or something like
Yes.
that? Like not this
We
year.
could hold it
This
all
year we
up.
stick
First
with what
weekend
we're
May.
already doing. We already have a date. We have people reserved. But like for next year, just again,
Because we were
play with the
talking too
idea.
much.
Oh, yeah,
We
sorry.
could, but again, why would we lose the bus? And the next, like,
because
we'll be more careful to book things and check them and book them quicker.
I know, but no matter what, we're competing against other Earth Days, which are the same people that we want to come. Like, why not?
Is
have
it the same people you want to come? Do
Yes.
you want all the towns coming?
Well, I want.
I'm just
I don't
asking.
want to have to like book Cyril a year ahead of time. I don't want to have to book the UI bus ahead of time. I don't want to have to all of these things like.
If this is gonna grow, you're going to have to
Yeah.
anyway, because that's how, as things get bigger, you do it
Yeah.
sooner. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't
but I'm
you book
thinking, like,
it?
why don't we just do it like the first week of May or something like that? Is there any reason not to? Does it have to? I mean, it's not really on Earth Day anyway. It's the Saturday after Earth Day because.
We could call it Earth Day any day.
Right.
Yeah, every
May's,
day is Earth Day.
right, but May is a crazy month.
You think so?
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like play
Mother's
around with that in
Day,
your head. Think, oh, that's
graduation.
true. Oh gosh, you're right.
It's a crazy
You
month.
can't mess with Mother's Day.
No.
And you're
Mother's
setting
Day
in
is
first
everything.
communions,
Yeah.
there's a
First-
lot.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
April's still kind of dead.
I'm talking to. Sorry.
Siri's interrupting.
Siri does not agree with May either.
No, apparently not.
No, but that's what I'm looking
So,
for. Like, is there any reason not to do that?
Earth
And
Day
the other
2026 is a
piece though
Wednesday.
being,
You can go either way.
What do you mean? What?
Earth Day 2026 is a Wednesday.
Oh, I know. So it happens to be the beach or spring break is always the week before that. So it's like the Saturday before Earth Day is always like the last weekend of spring break. It tends to be.
Oh, we
So
should
it makes
put
it
that
that
on
like
the survey we had to fill
never
out.
wanna.
not everyone's back.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do travel.
You know.
So we gear it
Yeah.
to Woodbridge, but the thought, if you're changing the date, because then you're not competing
Yeah.
with other places, is it because we want to go to other things, or you want the people in Hamden and Orange and Ansonia to come to ours, because we don't have the parking
Yeah, I don't
power
Yeah, that's I know.
for it. Like I would love it to be huge, like things in Orange and Branford could be, but where do people park?
They don't. There's no parking.
There's no parking, and even, like Pumpkin Festival in
We
Seymour,
did use the high school
They-
last year.
bus people over,
Yeah.
you take a little shuttle bus, we don't even have somewhere to shuttle them from. So like, you can
The
park
high
at the high
school?
school, you might as well walk.
We did that.
It's close
last
enough to
year.
walk, we did,
Yeah.
but if
I
it was
think we
big,
should-
the high school
we should
isn't that
have-
big, that parking lot isn't
What
that
if you
big.
parked on Beecher?
We should have a little bus for seniors that can't walk.
Yeah, we could do the free cycle at the high school.
Well, we can
That's
make
a good idea,
accommodations,
but we
and
can't.
talk
Again,
about
it's
that,
such a
that's not
long
the
time.
conversation
The
now
problem,
is,
Tom, with that space
if
is
you
we
want
need
it
to set up a
bigger.
week in advance.
And that's
How
the,
could
the
you?
high school can't accommodate
Okay.
that.
we can only accommodate so much.
Yeah,
Do we
'cause
need to
start
move
collecting
on
the stuff
only
and
I think
because
so.
of-
Thank you.
yeah,
Yes,
yes,
we
yeah.
need to move on.
I think we need to move on.
Okay, we gotta move on.
Okay, quick debrief for the, anybody have any thoughts or feelings about, the EV lecture and the heat pump lecture?
Heat pump was awesome.
Yeah,
I
And
don't
the
think I
EV
went to the EV one.
EV was awesome
EV
also.
is awesome. Kent is a really good speaker.
He really is a good speaker. He does his homework and he does.
I know, his presentations are
I missed it and I
amazing.
haven't watched it
Yeah.
yet, but
I mean, he
I've
was
heard great
actually
things.
worth,
Yeah.
like, he's a really good presenter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will,
Talk about
I'll get around
anything
to
and
it.
you'd
He's
be
so
like,
smart.
yeah.
He's
Right
so
after I
smart.
go to the orange transfer station, I'll
At the
watch
same
it.
time, yeah.
I have to prioritize.
And there were a couple people
No,
that were
just
giving
don't grade
him a
anything
hard
for the
time.
next week.
Yes,
You don't grade
they
anything.
continue to do that.
Yeah.
No, we did
I
have,
do
we
read
did
them,
have the one
but-
woman who wanted
Yeah,
to
because
and
it-
they would recommend
And
a
that's
vehicle.
not always
you know.
easy.
He felt bad.
Yeah, that's.
I know, he felt, I could tell because he's
I know, I'm
he's
reading
not
it, so.
political.
No, and he's a very nice person who
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
You didn't
hurt,
have
I
to
think,
make
by
a
their statements, but
Yeah.
he said. So anyway, so those were good. Anything, do we wanna do those again another time? Like, where do we wanna go with this educational series? Do we wanna keep having, I have to say, of these last two, there were all different people at both of them. They were not the same. I mean, I think last year it was like, you were like, hello, I could name the people who were there, you know? It's like, they were the same ones every single time. Those people aren't coming back because they know they've already come to them. We're getting different people every single time at different ones. And they're not the people that I would necessarily expect.
And that was our goal, right?
Yeah,
But
and that's
you're
great.
It's
getting
an
more
older
people.
demographic, I will say. But I was
Yes.
talking to the library about this, and they said that's who comes to the library things. It's not just
True.
unless it's like a concert
Some of the
that's
ones-
geared to kids.
Some of the ones that are coming
It's-
up are
This lecture's
very
recorded and
Yes,
put
and they're
up
on the
YouTube.
website. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think,
So they're all there for
I'm not
posterity.
sure what to have, but I do think we should just keep doing it, because
Yeah, we'll just keep
then
pushing
it becomes a regular thing.
Yeah.
And kind of like, new families into the town, you learn, oh, I should check the library calendar because they do, things for toddlers, and they
Yeah.
do after school things for the school age kids, and there's things for the seniors, and you just learn to look.
Yeah.
So right now it's kind of building the consistency.
Yeah.
And we can start asking people like, did you
But-
enjoy this? What other kind of things would you want?
I feel like it's hard because not even all of us can make them. You know.
I know, but that doesn't mean we can't try.
Yeah.
And they don't all have to be lectures, but I think there should
Right.
always be a something.
Okay.
And we may find that they do want different types of things, and then we can gear towards that.
Yeah, like working in the walk, the bird walk, that was a really cool idea. Like that interests me more because I could take my family to that. I can't
Yeah.
take the kids to the lectures.
Right,
But
so,
like bird walk, invasive species walk, like, I don't know, touring
Yeah, I
someone's
think
sustainable garden.
so it might
The walk,
be,
the garden.
depending on the
Yeah.
season, when
Yeah.
we can be outside, like,
True.
let's take it, and then the whole family can be there. And in the winter, maybe we can't, so those are, you know, have the Edie lecture and.
Yeah, and one
I
of the
think,
one of the
I
new
think
things
it's,
with,
I think you're right. And I think the lectures might be better during the winter. As
Yes, we
opposed
did
to
find
we
the
do
nice
other
weather
stuff
was no
outside. And, you know, and I say that, but, so my granddaughter's a competitive Irish step dancer, so most weekends I'm away because I'm following her.
Yeah, that does make it hard too.
right,
You know, and it does make it difficult because of the times, and we want to try and do it when most people are available, but
which is.
it just doesn't work for me personally. But you know, I think
Maybe
the
to
bird
vary
walks,
the
and I think,
dates.
you know, and we've got plenty of properties in town where we can incorporate sustainability, and Park Association is embarking on a few initiatives this year into 25 that I think we're gonna want to try and engage sustainability. We're gonna want to try and engage conservation and a couple of the other committees in town to help us get the word out to some of the things that we're doing in the park. And then we've also got the working group now on the former country club.
Mm-hmm.
That is, we met yesterday on that, and there's going to be a lot of public engagement there as well. And I think it's important that sustainability have a prominent role there in trying to make sure that we can get our ideas in on what we want to see at the country club. So I think we have a lot of opportunities to get our name out there and to get people like, I'm not sure who said it because it's, I can only see 4 people right now on the phone, but, you know, to get, when people move to town, they check the website and they say, oh, sustainability, let's see, what are they doing? And get people more engaged, because I think part of the problem with Woodbridge is that I think a lot of people don't really pay attention. You know, they live in Woodbridge, but they work in New Haven.
Mm-hmm.
They just want to come home and just be home.
There's a lot of
And
isolation.
they're isolated, you know, and it's a frustration I've always had with Woodbridge. But, you know, it's a beautiful town. We got lots of property here. I think we need to bring people in, and that's a great way to do it. And if we can do it through sustainability, hey, let's do what we can.
And that brings me to what I'm thinking about is like Whaley Avenue is going downhill. And we have a lot of empty properties, you know, on Amity also. So I think we need to work with New Haven to build up, refurbish those buildings so that they're more appealing and, you know, they get rented, they get...
Yeah.
No, because downtown Westville's so lovely.
Yeah.
It is,
And then,
but there's still some spots that could use...
well, I'm talking like that little downtown
Yeah,
strip.
yeah.
Westville is
And then you come through
It's
Amity.
fabulous. There's so many great
They have a
restaurants and
the
shops.
Cat Cafe,
And
did
then
you
you
see
go,
that?
yeah,
Yes,
the Cat
I know, I always
Cafe.
ignore
But
that.
like, you know, between Camacho's Garage and Bella's and
Yeah, right.
Pistachios
Yeah.
and Delaney's, and you've got so many little places.
Right.
It's hopping.
Yeah.
And then you go up the hill
Yeah.
and you hit kind of like
Like past the library.
not great strip malls and
Yeah, right.
and it's getting
It's
a little.
getting a little seedy.
You kind of drive by, you don't even know it's there. I was
Well, I
like
thought there
checking
was a
things
coffee
out
Stop
the
and
other
Shop.
day.
Yeah, Stop and Shop too should be
In
improved.
terms
you
of
know,
our
you just-
financial debacle and in terms of getting people to come to Woodbridge, not just for us, for everyone. to
For
be
everybody
aware
in that
That
area.
we're connected. I know in speaking with Mika, I had mentioned to him the possibility of more, I don't want to say chain stores because that's not what I'm talking about, but more recognizable name stores that could possibly attract people. You know, it's nice, we're quaint, and that's great, and it's good to have small businesses. I'm absolutely for that. But we need an anchor. We need a reason for people to come besides that, just to come here. And there are restrictions. I understand that. He explained to me that there are certain requirements. The big stores, they wanted to do a Trader Joe's, but they have certain requirements. One of them being it has to be near two different highways, and we only have the Wilbur Cross. You know, but something where it would be a good place, but something with a name that where people might come here for. And then you have a greater audience, a greater spectrum.
Or make the connection.
Yeah, I agree with that, I agree with that, it's funny you bring that up, because I just had this
They also have
conversation
a lot
last
of
night
other weird rules
with a
around putting
with a
Trader
couple of
Joe's in.
friends, that
Yeah, like they won't
the buildings that are vacant right now in
small
Woodbridge
parking lot because they like to
are
have
vacant
the
for a
illusion
reason,
of like it being
because the
busy all
people who
the time.
own them
Yeah, there's like a whole bunch of weird things about it.
are writing off those properties. They're taking a tax write-off.
Well, you have small parking
And,
lots.
I mean, we've got the old, the old, what is it, the old UPS building.
Oh,
the old
yeah, what a
Wheeler.
sad loss.
And,
I miss
and
Wheelers.
And those buildings.
Yeah, we needed a bar or like a cool restaurant.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking is, even like a,
Ice cream place.
And
well, we
they
have
the
two ice
micro
cream
creamery,
places.
Yeah,
Well, Bill's Carousel isn't technically in Woodbridge, but it's like right there, and you've got the micro creamery. But not like a chain like Trader Joe's, but even a little small, like Pistachios,
yeah.
who's already a name and established to come.
Yeah.
Where people are like, oh, great. I mean, we can't do Pistachios because they're down Chapel Street and Westville's so close. But, you know, if you think of another great coffee shop maybe that's in New Haven,
Like Claire's or something
that
like
people,
that.
that's what I was thinking of, Claire's Cornucopia, somebody who's already a name
Yeah.
that Woodbridge knows.
Well, what about like
And it
the
doesn't
Shake
have to
Shack
be
or something coming in
restricted, not restricted, but it doesn't have to be
So
something
my
great.
kind of thing, but
Yeah,
every-
something that's gonna attract.
And
That's-
that's one of the things we were talking about, people
Edge
go
of the
out
woods.
of Woodbridge to buy supplies for various things. You know, we might wanna
Edge of the
consider something that we could work with as
Yeah.
well to
a natural food store,
sustainably
like
keep
the one
growing,
in
you know,
Woodbury.
and,
Yeah.
and
Right,
Forget the
promote
name
things.
now.
yeah,
With
But
it.
I
yeah.
think
Right,
we're overstepping to a degree
yeah.
Yeah,
where
I think we,
this is
guys,
economic
also,
development,
I
and
love
this is
all of
Coupon.
you. And
Yeah.
we gotta
We
go.
gotta
Yeah,
go.
and this
Yeah.
isn't
We're gonna
us,
be
so
sleeping
this
here
isn't our
tonight.
department, but I think they're all good ideas.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, they're great ideas, but I think
No,
we're
we'll see.
going outside of our purview.
Right, I think we need to send those
Yeah, we-
ideas to the right department.
Unfortunately, we
Yeah.
gotta stay
Good
focused,
goals
because we
for
have
the
to make
future.
it through this POCD thing, because we have
Great
to submit
ideas,
that
just not
by
us.
next week.
Oh geez, okay, I
Yeah.
gotta look at it.
It's
Usually we do the coffee shop.
It's 7:35 and we have two things left on the agenda.
What do we,
Well, we've
So
got a
what's
really big
the
thing, which is the
very
POCD.
Okay.
we can start a coffee shop.
Call it sustainable.
Sustainability.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
We have two things left, the food waste and.
No, Alana, we gotta go, we have to do the POCD thing, which is, we skipped over it, we gotta go back to it, that's the big thing we
We're
have to
skipping
do.
to POCD.
We're skipping back, we're going backwards. Okay? Are they lost?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay, there's
Okay, okay. Did anyone get a chance to read any of the large documents?
I read the chapter 8 that Diana
Okay.
sent.
I skimmed the
Yeah.
beginning, the first, like,
Okay.
3, and then skipped and did 8.
Okay. So both conservation and Coopop have reached out to us to say like that we should go in together on our initiatives or whatever. I don't really know what that means. I mean, we all sort of have the same goals, I would say. So, but nonetheless, we have to submit these the ongoing action item, near-term action items. I think that's what we're expected to do. So I know last time we had talked about, let's see, I have them on here. People had said, you know, the film plastic, the composting at the transfer station, solar panels being a bigger presence. Those were the things that everybody was interested in before. So I wanted to sort of get input on if you saw from the 2015 ones. So here, I'll just,
Is that this that you shared?
yes. So I put the chapter 8 into a Word document so that we can delete, add, etc. And have one, and I put it as a Google Doc and shared it with everybody. I'll share it also with you. Sorry. Shared. so that everyone can, you know, we have one document and we're not looking at 10 different documents,
Okay.
not knowing what happened to it. So, BJ, in your magic of Google Docs, we can put on like track changes or something on this, right?
Oh yeah, you can look at the history.
Is there any, are there like specific track changes though? Is it just that we know like who changed something or
You should be able to
should?
Yeah, go
call
into
that up.
yeah, when you
Okay.
pull it up in the history, it'll highlight everyone in a different color.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
So, anyway, would the best thing to be to go briefly through it and just sort of talk about each thing? Okay, alright. Ongoing action item, agenda, manage and improve town trails. So remember too, in 2015, there was, Laura, would you say there was a sustainability committee of some sort or not? You would know better than I would.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but I think the focus, I don't know, at least from me reading these things, it seemed like the focus was not quite the same as like what our focus is now. So keep that in mind as I'm reading and, you know, if we want
Right, but
to.
Henry, I think as going through all of the sustainability chapter, it
Yeah.
seems like a lot of the initiatives are not even really within what we're doing. They're
Right,
talking
that's what I
about-
mean, like the focus seems a little bit different. Like this, the first
We
thing
were
is like
focused.
collaborate with the Boy Scouts. I'm like, well, you know, that the Boy Scouts can
Right,
do
but
it. Okay.
you're talking about, you know, working with the different
Groups.
park associations within town, working
Yeah.
with, so a lot of that stuff is not really within our scope, right? And I agree with everything. I think sustainability, but maybe we need to take a closer look at it and maybe
Yeah.
spike out what we as a committee, as opposed to a lot of this stuff was the Park Association, the Land Trust, and Conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All within sustainability. I mean, that was all mentioned within the sustainability chapter.
Right.
How can we break ourselves out of that?
Right. I mean, I don't want to just duplicate what somebody else is doing because conservation
Right.
obviously has their own part, and so does
Yeah.
Coopop. And like they were saying, like, oh, we should collaborate on these different parts. But again, it's like, well, that's their.
I thought this was about the development plan for the country club. This is different.
No,
than
this
that?
is not the country club. So this
Oh.
is the 10-year plan, like for the
No,
town.
10-year plan.
So
Oh.
let's start there. Let's back up. Okay. So the POCD is the planning on conservation and development. I don't know,
Okay.
something like that. But it's the 10-year plan, and so like literally when the town applies for grants for any kind of thing,
Here's
they
our
like
plan.
look at this and here's our plan and this is what we want to say. Like this is what I want to see in Woodbridge in the next 10 years.
Oh, so it's
So
everything we're talking
It's really
about.
cool. If
Yeah.
you really look through the
Yes,
whole
it's
document,
everything
it's
we're
like,
talking
Yeah.
whoa,
I
this
like-
is every single thing about the town. Like
Right.
it could be like to have, and I do think
Like
like,
Like
collaborate.
education is our thing,
Yeah.
and town
Like-
awareness and new
Yeah.
initiatives like the okay.
right.
So,
So it's like you want to say so for sustainability. Like so, I guess that's kind of what we need to.
what are we about?
Yeah. Who are we as
Right,
sustainability?
right,
What
we're
are we
not
saying?
recommending
Is it
purchasing different pieces of property in
No,
town.
that's
We're
not us, that's land
Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
No.
So
You
is
know,
it going to be
clear,
more like,
clear,
are we going to have an
one.
energy portion? Are we going to have a, you know,
We had a solar
Economic-
portion. We
right.
had, yeah.
have like, so saying like, use more alternative energies, whether that's solar or wind or water. I don't know. You know, like what's reasonable for
Yeah,
Woodbridge,
yeah, yeah.
but, you know,
Or the landfill, getting plastic film,
right.
getting
You know,
sorting.
waste.
Those are the things that I think
Diversion.
that
Yeah, diversion,
are more
there we go. I was like, that's the word
sustainability
that
committee
goes-
related that aren't
Waste
addressed.
something.
Right.
Right. So we
Energy
like.
and waste.
So yeah. Let's. I guess.
So it sounds like we're just like listing all of our lectures and then elaborating on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you should do is go to something.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna put at the
Can I
top
ask
some of
a
the ideas.
clarifying question?
Sure.
So the document that Diana sent us either this morning or yesterday evening, what is the difference between that recommended action POCD plan from 2015 and the Word document that you share with us?
You can edit the Word document.
So it's exactly the
I
same
copied and
thing?
pasted it. It's copied and pasted, so we can all edit it.
But not
And-
was the original.
Yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
All right. So to have like an energy portion. So the things we want to address are energy,
Waste,
waste
diversion,
diversion.
education.
What are other sustainable things? What about like What would you
Water.
call,
Well, it's
okay,
still
water
like-
conservation.
Those are big
Water
umbrella
conservation.
terms.
It's like land,
I can't spell, don't watch my
I
spelling.
don't wanna say
Someone-
use, but like
Land use,
Management.
management.
land management.
I
like-
would say, so there's, I don't know,
There
in a
is a-
brief overview of everything, there's a lot of those kinds of talks through, of like
I don't
what
think
everybody
land
else is saying.
management is within us.
Because
I
of-
would say outreach to
Yeah,
the
outreach.
schools. Outreach to
Education
the
and
town.
outreach.
I think for us it's different though with the land use because I read in that document that they're pushing for sidewalks between the high school to
School, yeah.
here
It's
and
been in
that,
the works for so long.
yes,
Yeah.
but
But
it's-
I thought they were put in years
my
ago.
kid can't ride his bike to go see other friends because
Yeah.
the roads are
Right.
so dangerous.
Yes,
So
right,
it keeps parents on the road
right.
instead of the kids on bicycles. That would reduce a lot of
Mhm.
energy.
Mm,
That's what we are.
Okay.
mm-hmm.
So it's not, it's, so when I say land use,
It's almost like the
that.
different like sustainability.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
sustainability
family
sections,
focused,
like, that's
private
what-
sector focus.
We did work on a bicycle trail, and, you know,
Yeah, but it's like on the busiest
Yeah, that
street.
was
like- Yeah,
I was so
yeah.
scared for my life.
I did that too, and it's on Peas, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Right. And so.
do you know how fast they drive on Peas?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
I'm a biker.
yeah.
I'm a
Okay,
biker too,
what
and
other
I-
section,
I'm
what
a
would you
bike
call
rider.
like the, you know, shopping local, what is that? I mean, it's like an economic portion of it, but we don't wanna be like the economic commission, what are we, what
That's
is,
goal number 11
Thank
from United Nations
Okay.
Sustainable Development, Sustainable Cities and Communities.
Yeah, I think we kind of like, we do a little bit of everything under the term of sustainability, right? So we try to hit as many facets of
Mhm.
living in Woodbridge as we can, whether it's business, it's the schools, it's the private homeowners, it's the renters even, it's
Yep.
everything in a way to educate them, to bring them on board with all of
To make
this.
a
And keep it
better
local.
community.
And keep
Yeah,
it
keeping
local,
it
yeah.
local and to build a better
It's like
community.
even like Massaro, it's like you can get your food
From
right down
them.
the street.
Yeah,
Like
part of the CSA.
that is exactly what it reduces all the energy to drive to the stores and to bring everything to the stores.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It's sustainable.
I love
Okay.
that.
So do we wanna sort of go through how do we wanna do this? Do you wanna go through the Word Google Doc individually or should we go through and just like cross out ones right now? What would be the most productive for, we have to come up with
There's
something.
no way
like
we're
a
gonna
week.
get this done tonight.
Tonight, yeah.
So
Let's do
you
it.
have it on a shared Google Doc?
It is a shared Google Doc.
When
Um,
is it due, Hillary?
The
I think it needs
18th.
to be
The 13th.
the 13th.
You can give us a
13th
lot
to be
of lead
submitted.
time on
Next
this.
Friday.
Which is next Friday, so I would say by next Wednesday we have to have this finalized. So here, okay, so let's just sort of like vaguely review. So the first thing was collaborate with volunteer groups. Second thing was stay updated on energy incentives. Monitor
Yes.
funding opportunities. Yeah, okay. I
Sure.
mean, like those are just easy to say, but that kind of means
But
nothing.
we have to like organize them into our subcategories.
Engage residents in protecting air and water, provide public notices at town ball fields and recreational facilities during air quality advisories and
No,
These aren't things.
not ours, that's Nika.
Woodbridge water, cleanup, coordinate events at Woodbridge water resources and informal workshops. Yeah, these aren't things we're doing. So we kind of I'm just gonna get rid of it.
Yeah,
But we're doing the workshops.
Yeah, no, but this is like,
old initiatives.
yeah.
Yeah, but then who should be engaging residents in protecting air and water?
Yeah, come.
I mean, can't we be?
Why wouldn't that be us?
That would be us.
We've done so much work to educate people, can't we be consultants as well? At least part of it?
But I also think this is what we're committing to do for the next 10 years. Are we gonna go to the ball fields and tell them they can't play ball?
Well, also there wasn't like, your cell phone wasn't gonna tell you the air quality, what the air quality was like in 2015.
Yeah.
So it's a different world.
Right, but if we're trying to make it a committee, like in a thing that people know about and go to and wanna move forward, we do get a notice on our phone. So if there's a quality advisory and ozone excellencies, like,
Well, I think the town hall actually
Like-
does send out those emergency notices
Yeah, like we
now.
didn't do anything about the red flag. We weren't like, hop to, I don't know.
No, but like they did, when there was like the bad air and stuff, like I do think there were,
Yes.
you know, the
Come out.
alerts and stuff.
well, they did for, you know, like,
Fires and.
Yeah.
Burn ban
I mean,
and
I
those
think-
kinds of
In
things. So I think
Canada.
some of them are like,
We will address it in terms of a broader sense of like, we wanna do the water testing, that's water quality. We do wanna encourage like switching over to solar and heat pumps, which is going to improve their local air quality because you're not having all these furnaces burning their oil and releasing,
Right.
VOCs and
Right, so
things.
that is engaging residents
That's
and
engaging.
protecting air
Yeah, so
and water,
now
like it is,
I'm
we
defeating
are doing
myself.
it, is what I'm saying,
But
like
I
we
think
are
that's
doing
absolutely-
it.
The bullet
If we
should
wanna
be
take
Yeah.
out the ball field
Yes,
thing,
exactly.
like that's
Exactly,
fine.
that's kind of what you're saying. It's more education, not like we're actually sending the
Doing it.
alerts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like
Just
those,
gotta edit that.
Yeah,
I think
so,
Hillary wanted to delete the provide.
public
We're-
notice.
We're not doing that.
right, we are doing the next part, coordinator host events such as hikes and cleanup.
We are not though.
We are doing hikes, cleanup events, not so much, but
Parks,
why
yeah.
wouldn't we? If we're planning on doing more of these things like outside, why wouldn't we take
could
a walk
co-host
Yeah.
them.
and bring?
Well, and cleanup
Yeah.
events is red litter. We do
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we
we
do
do that.
that, so
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
should stay.
that. Just do everything. It's very difficult.
Like, and then it's here and then it's done, like,
Yeah. And it's
so
good to
take out
collaborate
provide
with the
public
others.
notice, because we don't
Yeah.
do that and nobody wants to, so okay.
Because that's what
Well,
they
which one
want,
are
they
we
want
doing?
us
That's
to
fine.
collaborate.
Take out the words give notice.
Right, but that's part of what Mika does, is his outreach
Yeah.
in his monthly or weekly addresses. I mean, I would say advise and consent, right, to the Board of Selectmen to put that into their monthly newsletters, right? It's not something we're gonna do.
I like that. Advise and consent to the Board of Selectmen about
Yes.
sustainability
Yeah.
issues. Like we
Right.
are doing
That's
that
what they
already.
do
We're
that.
whispering in the ear and getting
Yeah.
the town and
Very good.
Yeah, you
Okay.
put that in.
Pursue existing energy opportunities, sure. Help residents take advantage of existing energy programs and incentives, sure.
Yeah.
We do that. Conduct municipal energy audits of major town buildings. That's in the process of happening right now, actually. So that's fine. Examine options for using Bright Idea Grant. I don't know what that is, so that
Delete.
might have to go. That might be outdated at this
So
point.
examine options for fundraising sources.
Sure.
Sustainable finance.
how are we doing that? Like we are though, because
If
we're
you're raising
resourcing our
funds.
stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To support
What did you
sustainability
put?
related
Yeah.
initiatives.
POCD, is this, what
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Yeah, it's chapter 8, so it's the Google Docs, so that we were all working on one and not making.
No matching results.
So this next.
2015 POCD is what I called it. Publicize existing property tax exemption for renewable energy systems. Is that true?
Well, that's kind of like the heat pump stuff, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's the same,
I
so
don't
like
think we
that
get,
needs to be changed to
yeah,
what we
we're
know,
doing.
so, or if it's a 10-year plan for
I would like a,
what we might come across,
Mm.
so I think it needs to be less specific.
maybe we'll just pull that up for checking.
Publicize,
So this is to be
tax
submitted to
exemption,
Town.
This-
So the town,
whom? For the committee
Board
to
of
become like a
Zoning,
full
one of the-
committee from
No.
ad hoc.
No, this,
no, no, no,
this,
no,
we're required to
no,
do
no.
this every 10 years.
This is the overall Town of Woodbridge 10-year plan done by the Planning and Zoning
Okay,
Committee.
So this is the
Commissioners.
sustainability inputs to
Yes, so it's
big
actually a
program.
161-page document from 2015. Our
Okay.
section is like yay big, and there's a lot of other very large
Sure.
sections. So every committee and commission has to submit what they want. That doesn't mean it's going in even.
Right,
It
right.
means we're submitting our suggestions for our things, which doesn't necessarily just have to be in our section. We can have things in other sections too that we're
Oh, that's
putting
a
our
lot.
nose into.
And is this the format they want us to submit, short term, mid term, long term?
This is how it was on there, so that's,
Oh.
when someone, so Coopop sent me what they wanted to collaborate on, and I was like, how by perchance can you tell me, how did you come up with this? Did you just come out of nowhere? And she was like, I just went to the 2015 one, and, emulated it. I was like, there we go, thank you, that's what we need to know.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
I
what we know.
remember I have seen with some European cities and
Yeah.
universities, they arrange the sustainability related proposed initiatives in their plans classified based on the United Nations 17 SDGs. So they say that we are doing all bunch of things, this addresses this goal, this addresses
Right.
this
The
goal.
sustainable development
So I'm
goals.
wondering, actually, in that same
Anyone?
regard, do we do it based on the sustainable CT ones?
Oh,
'Cause that's
that's a good
actually what
idea.
we're, and then again, we're not reinventing the wheel for everything, and we can say bam, 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 here's how we're hitting those 12. That was the 12 things that we have to
Sure.
do. So then we know exactly what we're looking for in all
List
of
those
them.
12 and then subtext
So it's
are
just a
things we're
smaller
doing.
version of that, you know?
Yeah, localized
It's our
version.
localized version of it. So then it matches up to everything, and we can say, here you go.
Yeah,
Because
I
they
think
actually, I mean,
that's great.
the Sustainable CT wants our POCD too.
Okay.
Also.
Yeah.
So
So
then it'll be an easy check off for them.
yeah, so it might be the kind of thing that's the best way to organize it for our purposes overall. Yes.
So publicized tax exemptions, blah, 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 is basically what we're now kind of saying.
Okay.
Help residents take advantage of, I'm gonna get rid of existing energy programs.
Okay.
Advantage of energy programs and incentives.
Right.
Okay.
And I'm taking that whole other section you bolded out, because,
There we go. Let's not be
We
redundant. We
don't-
got more to add. We don't want to add like the same thing 10 times.
Right.
right.
Okay. Next.
Wait, no,
Oh,
another question,
yes,
I'm backing
go
up
ahead.
to, I bolded, and now I kind of am changing the format to make it easier to
Don't worry.
read fast. So I bolded, work together with the other 4 West River watershed compact cities and towns to restore and protect the river and watershed as a central feature of the landscape. Are we doing that? Do we plan on doing that? Because it's in
Can we
here.
just say work together with like regional water authority or something like that? Because
Which
do
we
work
have.
with them.
To protect and get rid of, to restore.
To educate about
Together with-
protecting.
Yeah.
Regional Water Authority to protect the river and watershed as a central feature of our landscape.
Yeah.
Do you want to add other words in that, or that's good?
That's good.
All right, unbolded, done.
How about including flooding, because flooding has been
An issue.
an issue.
Disaster response is what.
Alright.
Yeah, it's
For
true.
some
We're
reason,
bringing
I
that
think
one.
that that's another section. I feel like I came across that in trying to when I first boldly attempted to read the whole thing. There was
But
something
it'd
about
be-
flooding in some
and
other
then-
section.
For us, it would be education about how to make our properties
Yeah.
less.
Prevent erosion.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that.
right.
So again, it just keeps coming back to the education
Mm-hmm,
and then talking to the
mm-hmm,
selectmen,
mm-hmm.
so. it's
Alright. Modeled responsible waste management,
Yes.
so that we can make that section bigger there. It's just provide clearly labeled multi-system recycling stations in municipal buildings and schools, and we can add food waste diversion. So, and again, we want to think 10 years here. So this is where all these things that are in the
Right,
works, we
right.
want to say, like,
Yeah, right, this is what we're
This is
doing.
the section of the ongoing action agenda.
And we can specifically say like plastics.
Mm.
Yeah, film
There.
plastics, we can, I mean, like, we can call it all out here.
Yeah,
Compost.
call everything out,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Food
this
waste
is
diversion.
the pie in the sky thing. It's like, go for it. 'Cause, and again, look what I was told before is, you know, when the town applies for grants or when when we're trying to get these things, they look at this. So it's like, we have to look that we're trying to do this. So,
Food waste and,
yeah.
you know, including it all.
Food waste, which would be the composting. and
Yeah, the
Yeah.
composting, right?
Making
Yeah.
it either single household
Mhm,
versus
mhm.
townwide.
Yep,
Okay, address air and water quality threats in policy, adopt low impact development provisions into town zoning and subdivision regulations. Take action on energy conservation, partner with UI on adopting effective efficiency messaging for customers. Hold townwide conservation competition with rewards for businesses and residents who reduce their energy consumption by the greatest margin. How would we ever do that? I mean, it sounds fun, but develop energy sustainability performance standards for future municipal buildings based on rating systems. They are, like I said, they're actually doing all the energy audits on the town buildings now. So that's in process. I don't know that we can I don't know if that's really possible. This is village standards. Encourage possible expansion of natural gas service to Woodbridge residents. Well, wouldn't we all love that?
What about like talking more about propane?
Propane is not really that good, I
I mean,
think.
some of this stuff is just out of our
sustainability-wise.
control.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
half my home runs.
Yeah.
I have a propane fireplace, and it can be very expensive, too.
It's expensive, but I think it's not. Yeah.
Yeah,
And a lot warmer.
Yeah.
Burns cleaner. It burns cleaner.
Yeah.
Propane. So you're sustainable.
Which one?
Propane
Oh,
burns cleaner. There's
Yeah,
less
my heat won't turn on
particles.
if I'm home. My oil heat never turns on when I'm home because I'm running two
Oh,
fireplaces.
propane fireplaces.
and my house is really warm.
Oh, I love so jealous.
All right, so here's the expanding recycling and composting options, encourage businesses to adopt clearly labeled and separate waste receptacles, town multi-stream facilities partner with, which by the way, do we count as multi-stream anymore or are we single stream? I guess we are still, we went back to multi-stream now, right? Because taking the glass out makes it multi-stream?
I don't know what the qualifications are of that.
I don't even know if Bozito does that because I don't.
Right, no, but we have to,
At the transfer station
yeah,
we're
it's like
talking
the transfer
about.
station I think is doing
That
that,
may
the
be
private haulers.
multi-stream because we separate the paper, we separate.
Yeah, so I think
the
we're back
plastics,
to multi-stream
and then we
now.
do-
I think we used to be, I think it went back and forth within this time.
Yeah, we're
Or-
separating out the glass, we're separating
Yeah,
out
Are
metal.
we still below the Connecticut average?
But I still think that there's still some single stream in there, the plastic, the
The
paper.
plastic and the paper, that's right, they were together.
partner
Yeah,
with
they
local
still get
farms.
dumped in there. I mean, we got the glass out of there.
Right, so that's the question, is that now multi-stream?
But I,
because of
I-
it?
but when I
We're
go
calling
there,
it
I always,
Just going with
of course, I always look inside, and people still throwing cans, soup cans and other cans into the recycling with the plastic and the paper, so, you know, a lot of this stuff's getting, it's educational, and again, I go back to just trying to get in front of the Board of Ed for some of this stuff, but frustrating.
Partner with local farms and advocating composting and teaching how to set up a system at home.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we're doing that with the local farms. I think we're doing it ourselves.
But we also had, what's his face, the Peels on Wheels guys.
Domingo. He's not a local farm.
So
But
just change it to
Massaro,
advocate composting.
Didn't they partner on?
Yeah, I thought Massaro partnered.
Massaro partnered with us.
Okay.
I think
that's been done.
But it makes, see, I think from this it makes it sound like we're partnering with the farms who are doing the composting.
So what if we
Oh.
just put advocate composting and teaching how to set up a system at
Yeah.
home, and if we partner, we do, and if we don't, we don't,
Yeah.
but we're still doing what we say.
Yeah, I think that's good, advocate for that.
Advocating, yeah.
And then we also want to
I mean,
advocate also for the
obviously, our
townwide
10-year
program
vision
too.
is that we get a lot of residents in town to compost and to, you know, recycle. And I think that's what they're looking for, because if you read it, it's like 2014 now, and the prior one, and we're still advocating for the same things.
Right, I know, it was a little sad for some of it. It's like, yep,
You know,
Still
right
doing
to this,
the-
I think, well, we're still trying to do this. We're still trying to get
Ah.
the people in Woodbridge to do this stuff.
develop townwide recycling plan to bring landfill diversion up to at least the Connecticut average. Okay, that's fine. Promote sustainable foods in the schools. Partner with local farms and schools to offer instruction and assistance setting up gardens for area students on school grounds. That's a
That,
tricky one.
well, high school has a little, do they even have gardens at the high school? There's no
I
way
can't think of where it would be.
to
if
do
there is.
gardens at the school, I mean, not that there's no way, but
Yeah.
I don't foresee gardens at Beecher, because your
Why can't
main
we
gardening
have a
time
utility
is the
store
summer,
when they're not
and
there, yeah.
location wise, in order to do it, you do need to be in a sunny spot, you can't be on your playgrounds.
Right.
There really isn't, it is so far away that the property is so big, the walk from
There's also the
classroom
pest concern.
to
and
said
all that
gardens,
stuff.
you know, we've looked into all of this, MAG has their little garden. Like I don't see that as a thing.
You just
I
said,
know.
but why can't we have a garden? Why can't we take a fairly sizable piece of the country club and
Expand the
dedicate
community
that to
gardens?
nature for farming and have a community garden that is, that the student, you have to bust them there.
Well, they were
Right.
gonna
In
do
that
that
regard,
at
you could
the
have them go to
Fitzgerald.
Mazzaro.
Right, if it's to do the
No, you have a
upkeep,
community garden, I agree, you have a community garden at Fitzgerald, right? But those, and I've been a part of that, right? And you have to pay for it, and you have to maintain it. why can't we have something that's 4 times that size at the country club, that we get the students?
Cause they can't maintain that.
And they're not gonna do
We
it over
have
the
a-
summer. We can't even.
We
do
have a
that
garden
summer.
outside of our doors in Mag, and we can't maintain it.
And those
And
are
the
most,
logistics
like,
of,
Yeah,
having a
that's how
bus.
we teach. We
people,
teach
yeah.
in that garden, and it can't be maintained. And, you know, so the adults have to
Is it
take
part
on
of
a
the
lot of it.
curriculum?
What was that?
Is it
Part of the curriculum.
There's parts of it in the curriculum, and we work it into our curriculum, but gardening isn't part of the curriculum, nor is it going to be,
Yeah.
because there's so much other curriculum, there aren't enough hours in the school day to go in, and they just redid the science NGSS, so as I said,
Well,
we
maybe-
can't even
maybe our
maintain
10-year
the
goal
small garden we
is
have.
Maybe our 10-year goal is to try and
Encourage
do that.
gardening in
Maybe
school.
we partner with the high school, maybe we partner with, I mean, the high school's the only thing, I mean. the junior
I
high
started a
schools are
school
in-
garden at my high
Orange
school in
and
New York,
Bethany.
and it was a
Right.
lot of work for me over
Yeah.
the
Right.
summer.
Yeah, and there's no
Not a
one to
lot.
take care of it. As
Yeah.
a committee, we
Well,
can't.
maybe
That's a full-time
maybe
job.
we
Gardening
reword
committee.
this in a way not to set up the gardens for area students on school grounds. Maybe it's for students to have access to gardens, whether that means like field trips, you know, they're saying here, partner with local farms.
Sure.
Do we bring the kids to Mazzaro to have them?
Yeah, or
read for a
encourage
day, or
private
whatever.
gardening, because people have
Well,
their
they
own
do that.
gardens. It's
Well,
Yeah,
sustainable.
exactly. Like I
Partner
wonder,
with
do we
the
change it
local
to that?
farms
Yeah.
to get the food.
Yeah, that too.
So that
Just
we
the
stop-
food. Buying from
Yeah,
wherever.
picking,
Cisco.
so, you know, harvesting.
Right,
Well,
and our
you know.
new cafeteria, like, there is more, looking into more, you know, farm fresh foods and
Yeah.
whatnot in the cafeteria.
Farm to table.
And if you wanna, like, saying to, I mean, saying partner with local farms though is also, is that a necessary
Could
thing?
just
Like,
keep it
why are
open.
we deciding that the teachers need to
Yeah,
partner
well,
with the
that's not-
local farm to teach that fresh produce is healthier and better for you? Like, that's in the health curriculum, and they do teach that. You don't need to go to a farm and spend money on the bus and take that much time out of the day
Yeah.
because your health teacher's giving those lessons.
But the other thing that this made me think of is how Mazzaro used to do the tasting in the cafeteria and stuff too. It's not just a one-way partnership. I'm thinking like it's like whole.
No,
thing.
no,
It's just like
I get
partner
that.
with the farms.
It's the whole, the wording of this one
Yeah.
is not, kids don't need to do the gardening and maintain a garden to learn
Yeah.
And
about
that,
a garden.
it's a lot of work, especially like, you know,
It
when
is
you,
a lot of work.
when you go, God bless you, when you go to the Fitzgerald Community
Yeah, yeah.
Gardens, first of all, there's no water hooked up. So
Right.
you've gotta carry
Okay.
those jugs or,
Yeah.
you know, get a water barrel. I mean, it's intense,
Yep.
you know, and you have to water and you have to plant and you have to,
Weed.
you know,
I know, we
Till
have,
the
as I said,
land,
we
you
have
know.
a garden
Right.
that we
Weed.
can't keep up.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
Again,
moving on.
education.
Long-term action item agenda here. Address air quality and hazards from wood burning. Examine extent of wood burning for heat in Woodbridge homes. Are there that
Is
many
this a
wood
big
burning?
thing in
Yeah. no. I feel like, I mean, from what I've seen of PACE, that actually has the data of like how many people. I mean, the most is oil here. It's not. I mean, there's some wood.
Maybe we should get that out.
Examine extent of wood burning for heat. Comes to consider incentive, regulation, clean burning wood. I mean, we can leave it on there. We can examine that.
Yeah,
Sure.
do this.
Sure.
Maybe it's just less and less. But this I thought was really interesting that they mentioned the deconstruction into town regulations. So that's the concept. They actually called it out specifically earlier in one of the sections about using urban miners in Hamden. Does everybody know what that is?
No,
Oh, it's the best place ever. It's so cool. Urban Miners is a place where, like, let's say you have an old farmhouse and you're like, you know what, I'm going to redo the kitchen. They will come in, so you do deconstruction. That's what that's officially called, deconstruction. They come in and they'll gut it for you. I don't know if they charge you or what, or maybe you just tell them when it's being gutted, and they'll take all of the old stuff. So they'll take like your radiators and your, maybe your old furniture and whatever. But so they do things when people are deconstructing, and then they sell it again. But so it's like that's it's
Like the fireplace mantle made out of farmhouse
Yes.
wood
Yeah.
or whatever.
Or if you have, like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, they'll sell, like, here's all the oak flooring out of this
Yeah.
house that was being, torn down. Or here's, like, those other kind of not this kind of radiator, but, like, the iron
Yeah, the old
radiators
school
that'll break
ones,
your
yeah.
foot if they fall on you. Here's, like, certain kind of doors. Like that you're like, oh, I have an old house and I need to match the door. Like, you go to Urban Miners to get the match. That's where you're
And
gonna
it's in
find these.
Hampton?
Yeah, it's in Hampton.
Should be interesting to see.
It's on, or at least it used to be on Dixwell, the warehouse. I'm not sure it's there anymore. I think it was really hard for them to keep the thing open. But they certainly, let's follow it on Facebook. They definitely have it there. They say like whatever they have for sale all the time. But it's like really cool, weird
Yeah.
stuff.
I know people that have bought the old wood and,
Yeah. Right, when you're looking,
replaced
if you
all
have an
their-
old property and
Yeah.
you want to match stuff, like that's where you have to get it because
Yeah.
you're never going to find it
Yeah.
anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's a very cool concept. I just think it's kind of weird to have it on. So
Yeah.
I was excited, but I don't really know how many old properties there are here that
Or left.
They're
Yeah.
we have a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's still a lot.
are miners.
There's still a lot.
MINERS.
Although a lot of them are like
I have urban mining.
Have you been getting the history?
It's a beacon.
Okay.
Sheila
More
McCreven's
beautiful.
history documents
We took the
really
wood paneling down
interesting
in our
about the history of Woodbridge and Bethany.
Fireplace mantle.
Are we,
Put that on our front.
Okay.
reading the POCD document?
Are we done with POCD?
Nope. It's still keep going. All right. So
I
that's
think they're in-
deconstruction. They did move
Yeah.
into Beacon Falls. All right. So now they're no longer in here.
Oh, they're in Beacon Falls
They
now.
moved to Beacon Falls.
I'm eating all of these.
Good.
Manage or
I
protect
was
town
waiting for you
forest
to take them to
assets.
Nora.
Develop a plan for taking a
She
tree
won't know.
inventory in critical areas, including adjacent to scenic and commercial roads. Consider local incentives for renewables. Identify gaps for program.
You're just reading them though, are we not doing, like, do we still need to develop a plan for taking a tree inventory in critical
Yeah,
areas,
that seems
including
really
adjacent
weird
to scenic
to
and
me.
commercial roads, trails and power lines?
No.
Strange, but,
So like, if we don't still need it, then it should not be in here.
okay. Delete, lady, delete. That is the end of the
Do
document.
we
Holy
need
moly.
to still expand on existing demolition delay ordinance?
No. What does that even mean?
Well, so that's the
That's the, to
deconstruction
further
thing. So what they,
incentivize.
how they like made it into a thing where they were like that you actually can't have demolition. You have a delay so that these kind of companies can get in there to take the stuff,
Oh.
which I thought was cool. But I had like no idea that anybody had ever done that.
Yeah.
But
um,
what is the current delay
I
ordinance?
guess I don't know.
So
That's
like,
what,
we don't know if
So should
that
we-
still has to happen,
yeah,
or,
let's bold that so we can.
or do
ask
we
them.
just want to incentivize deconstruction and salvage?
Yeah, maybe that's easier to just
Yeah.
switch it to that.
Switch it to that.
But yeah, are there other,
Vague.
so somewhere in so one of our other things of like having like reuse sort of like a I think somewhere in here we need to get into like not like making buy nothing an official thing, but like this incentivizing or advocating for reuse and recycling
Within the community.
within the community.
Alright, hold on.
Anyway, I'm just listing all those things.
I mean,
at
I
the
think
top that we
it's,
need to somehow get
we're,
into here.
you guys are doing a great job, but it could always be, there's room for,
Right, we want to put here like what are the things we could possibly ever do? I mean, nobody's gonna.
So the other thing we didn't actually do when we were reading this, or I didn't, was they're broken down as ongoing,
Right.
near-term, mid-term, long-term. Are these where we want them to be
Right.
or not? Because like ongoing would be promoting,
yeah, keep going.
That's gonna be the biggest
Sustainability.
like education
Yeah,
yeah.
things. Yeah.
I would say all of them would be on.
We're
Make-
sustainable. We're always on.
Well, ongoing, like is we're doing it now and it will continue on
Yes, right,
forever.
right.
So that does fit, but like that is what we have to go in here and
Right. Good.
maybe move some of these to where they belong.
I know,
Yeah,
I
same.
need to go to sleep soon.
No, I
Um,
promised my child I'd put him to bed, and I did not think it would go.
Let me just also share with you guys what the Coopop. Maybe I'll just let me copy and paste it into that shared thing. Okay, and what they wanted to do with us. Okay, so for everyone that's listening, at the very bottom is gonna be Coupop things, okay? That's what these were their suggestions. And they did include a thing on the country club.
We could do that too.
Don't worry, we're included in theirs.
Okay.
So look at those and see how you feel about being
Yeah,
included.
that's
So
fine.
this is I better actually put above
I'm
it.
sure
This
I
is-
agree with everything they have on there, but
I'm gonna put,
I would just say
look it over.
exactly, look it over. Honestly, the country club thing scares me because people are so divided on it.
Yes.
And anytime I hear anything about it, I have a panic of like,
Well, I-
gosh.
They're really looking for
Yeah.
our support though, as for land preservation for that. Like,
Well, so there's a super committee sort of thing
Yeah,
that
I
Tom and
know.
I are on.
yeah.
It's us and it's housing, and so it's all the committee chairs. I feel like we're like the Avengers or something.
Yeah,
Except less
but it's
exciting.
good though, but we need to bring our ideas forward
So
through
it's,
you
It's
two.
Coupop, it's housing, it's conservation. I'm sure it's others, but I don't know people's names to know who they belong to.
Mhm.
So
What does COOPOP stand for?
Commission on the use of publicly
Alright,
owned
kind of
properties.
a note in
Oh,
there.
you're
I forget
good.
what the U was.
20
So-
years on that committee.
Well, it's fine. I just still think of you as Coupop for it, like you.
I was a Coupop.
I
Okay,
Queen.
no worries, no worries.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. So anyway, so look at these things, add, subtract, see how you think we can get all of those 12 things into it.
12 things from the SCT sustainable goals.
Sustainable CT goals, any of these other things, like how do we want to get the energy, like alternative energy, into these? Because again, like I agree, we read those other things and it's like, that's not us.
Yeah,
That's not us now. This is not.
us for the next 10 years.
Yeah, this isn't our flavor now. So how can we get the things that we've been doing that we're passionate about, and like if you went to that thing that they had in the meeting room,
No, I did
that
not.
was really good.
I know.
That's
Um,
housing over there, right? They're having a meeting in there.
Oh, I don't know. No,
Yeah.
I meant like if you came to the thing that was like the zoning committee where they had that.
Oh, yeah.
That thing that was like, it's like, well, what do you want to see in 10 years in
Yeah.
Woodbridge? You know, like.
We
So-
had that like 10 years ago
Yeah,
also. I mean,
right.
this is the second one that,
So it's like,
Yeah.
what do you want to see? And what, I mean, like, unfortunately, the country club thing has like taken.
It's got its own monster.
Yeah.
listen,
Yeah.
the firehouse. has been-
Right.
The firehouse was,
It's everybody's.
Its own monster too.
yeah, I mean, really.
Well,
It's
and
just,
there it is still
they're still,
sitting there.
they're still,
Working
you know,
in the
going back
works.
and forth with that, you know,
Right.
so it takes time. In
So-
Woodbridge, everything takes
Everything
time.
takes time. So it's like, where do you want to see it? Where do you want to see, so, since the country club obviously has been this spotlight issue for 10 years or whatever, I mean, they mentioned it in the 2015 one too. They're like, we should do something with that property.
Well, that's when it first went blank though,
Yeah.
right? Like 2014
When we
post or
purchased the
something?
property,
Yeah.
It was like, we should use these
2015
things.
was it? When
Yeah.
I was on the
So-
Board of Selectmen.
Right, so then it's like, so what do we not want to, what do you not want to see on the 2035 plan? I guess that's the question. What do you want to have that, this is what we can do?
Yeah, okay. Okay.
What is not going to just be put onto the next one? What can we get done? Something. We can get something done.
We're already doing a lot. We just need
I know,
to.
yeah, we
We're
are.
doing a lot.
Okay. So, we need this done by next Wednesday. Let me just peek back at the agenda. I think that hit everything.
I know, we were working with the electric company, UI,
Yeah,
you know?
right. I remember for the solar stuff.
Yeah, I mean, is that something maybe that we should be doing also to?
I'm not sure. So I think a lot of those incentives, just like, all the rebates and incentives, like solar at one point got you, that's getting less and less and less.
Mhm.
And when you get solar, UI has to approve that you can even get solar now because they don't want, you were saying like there's more
Too
than
many
people on your
houses
block.
on the
There's
block,
only
yeah.
so many people on your block are allowed to have it.
Oh.
So like
Yeah.
every single person on your
Too
block
much
can't
draw on
have
the
it because
lines.
then it's too much. They actually, like they're losing you as a customer basically
Yeah.
too. So my getting solar process, UI was like the ones that made everything take 10 times longer, kept saying, oh no, we need to check one more time. Oh.
Oh, it takes forever
Yeah.
to go through the process.
Right, and so like UI does, It's not a.
So you have solar now?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had solar for a few
Did they
years.
put the
Battery?
no, around the panels, did they put binding so that the leaves don't go underneath or?
No, they said they don't do that automatically and only if you have a problem.
Well, I finally
Hey,
got them
guys.
to do it.
So,
Okay. Okay.
I think the only thing that we didn't talk about was food waste diversion update.
Table that for the next meeting?
That's no, I think we're good. That's going to be the food waste diversion. That's just what we sort of did talk about with the
Right.
child care center.
Film.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I think we hit it really. It was just sort of in a different section. And then the other little tiny thing, so that Lana can go, and she already heard this anyway. So Pace is having an event on the 14th, which is Pace is the people who came.
Okay.
Something Connecticut Energy.
Mhm.
Those nice energy people that do the Heat Smart thing. They're having an event on the 14th, the morning that we do our upcycle thing, which by the way everyone should come to. The morning, it's like 9:30. It's at it's some Cinemark theater nearby. I asked him which one, and didn't get an answer yet.
North
So I
Haven,
will
probably.
supply details. But they're showing Moana 2 and The Grinch.
I wanna see Moana too.
I know, me too,
Yeah.
and I don't want to see The Grinch.
I
so
love
this
the
was like a
Grinch,
really
which
weird.
one?
I
That
think
has
the
to be
original.
North Haven.
Love the original.
You think it's
I don't
North
like
Haven?
the
Because
Haven?
my older son in the middle school, they're all going to watch Moana 2 at North Haven on 19th of December for some filmmaking
So you
stuff.
think they
So could
rent
be
things
North
like that?
Haven.
Okay, we'll assume it's North Haven then.
Yeah, that's where they
Nonetheless,
do
so
a lot
there's
of
2 theaters of Moana 2 and 1 theater of The Grinch, and they asked, did I want to be an usher for this, and that like people can go from Woodbridge or 2 other towns that they're including in this too. You sign up and you have to like hear about heat pumps, and I don't know, and I was like, well, do you need all of us? Like, I don't know if we all, and they were like, oh, maybe they can all be on standby, and we can have, because we don't really know how many people, like, it doesn't sound
Sounds
terribly
like a
well.
timeshare scam type of thing.
I know. And I was like, well, do I get to watch Moana too? Because like, I'm not really interested in
Sit
going
through
to see
this,
the Grinch. I
buy
can do
some
that
heat
at home.
pumps, and then you get to
Oh.
watch Moana for free.
I know. So anyway, I will, as I hear more details, I will share them. If anybody is available the morning
okay.
of December 14th, it might be an opportunity where we
Okay,
can.
great.
Again, it's the town of Woodbridge is going to be invited to go.
We'll take Nora and.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, Nora and Ethan were just telling me today after school they want to go.
Exactly.
Everyone saw it on Thanksgiving.
No.
So anyway, that's that.
Okay.
That was my Heat Smart movie thing. That I
Motion to
shared.
close?
Yes, motion to go home and go to sleep.
Second?
Third.
Sorry, Hillary. Okay.